Leche. Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting nippy up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They get slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, October 27th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Big poker night last night. Thank you all so much for being a part of it. Mitch Fearing right there. Thank you, my friend. You were excellent. Great work. Shout out to our cash man. You may have seen him on screen, some of our thoroughbred videos, but Cashman was our winner. Alex Hills, whom we love dearly, in second place, and Drink in Hand, another capper that we just love so much. All you guys, thank you for your support. We didn't have the numbers that we were hoping for, so we're going to have to talk internally whether we want to give it one more shot. You know, $250 for the free roll. Then we put $25 on it and only get 38 people. So we'll discuss whether we do another one, but enormous thank you to all who played a role in it. Our producer and leader of the Cappers contest, and don't forget we have our Cappers contest video at 2 p.m. Jose Bouquet was leading for most of the tournament. It was impressive. I got knocked out again early, upsetting, but a winning night in sports betting, which helped very much. We cashed our only bet in NHL very easily with the Islanders -1 at +143. We're on our way to the black. NBA, I added Gambler's First Glance while we were hosting the poker tournament, which ended up giving me a winner. I mean, I didn't tweet out that I did it, but cash-wise, it made me a winning night in NBA. So it was a good night. It was a good night all around. Thank you all so much for supporting our show. It meant our poker night. It meant a ton. I'm fighting the good fight. A little shaky. It was a late night when the poker tournament was over. I had a cap. I capped for a long time. I did eat a steak, so I had some protein, but it was a late night of capping. I had already bet the Sabres and the Canucks. So with my capping, I really spent a lot of time on the 4 NBA games and the 3 NCAA football games. I wanted to make sure that I was very, very prepared there. We also have Thursday night football to talk about and NHL. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. Viper NB, Razor Sharp Picks, Big Daddy Boom in the house. There's Big Red. Thank you for becoming a member of Pub Sports Radio, Big Red. We are putting out a video here to explain what you get, and we have a bunch of things in store that we are planning for members. Penny Bombs in the house, Bo Jackson, North Ender, Officer 50, Ayash Yala, ready to go. Cashman 19, there's our winner right there. AJ, are you ask me if I for real taking the Canucks money line today? Yes, I'm for real taking the Canucks money line today with confidence. We'll go over that game, but yes, I almost wore a Canucks jersey. I could throw on the Canucks jersey. You need me to throw on a Canucks jersey just to prove? Here, you want me to do that? Jose, come on, jump on the screen. I'm going to throw on a fucking Canucks jersey just to show you how much I fucking mean it, AJ. God, I'm hungover. Don't test me, man. Don't fucking test me.
Okay. All right. Gokster, welcome onto the program.
What's going on, guys?
Nice to see you. How's your NHL going?
Oh, it's going pretty good, actually. On Tuesday's show, 4 and 5, slight losing day. Oh, there he is. Let's go. Jimmy the Bag. What's going on, brother?
That may have taken the color out of my face. Did it, Jose? I mean, the wearing the yellow does not help the green screen.
It definitely looks like 17 sizes too big, too. Is that like a full goalie jersey?
Yeah, we got shoulder pads. It's got the whole giddy up right there.
You want me to put on my Trevor Linden jersey? I'll put on my black Linden jersey.
Go put that one on. Thank you. All right, continuing.
No, just doing well there, guys. 4-1, I believe, last time we were on a Thursday. Had the Islanders too with Jimmy there. Haven't been tweeting out as much as I probably should be to everyone here in the chat. I'm going to start getting better at that. But juicy card today. Don't test Jimmy this morning, guys. He's not.
No. He's not in the mood today.
He's not. No comprende.
Oh, there we go. That's a better one. That's much better.
Where is he?
There he is. There he is. Much better. It's a size. It's like 6 sizes, and it actually fits you. So that's good. All right, we're ready.
Let's go.
Dan Kelly ready to get to work. Danny Lopez, Better's Bet. Stimmy OG in the house. What up, Stimmy? Kyle Hintley in late night Tampa cash. Great job there. Osby on the Red Wings money line. There's LJ from H-Town cashing the for tonight. Predators. Mavs first quarter -1 and Gus Edwards over 46.5 fresh yards. Our live bet stream tonight. Yes. We have our guy Connor Mack. Connor Mack hosting our Thursday night live bet stream. Oh God. Kyle Hintley says, Bruins, my dude, 6-1. Did not expect it. Now Marchand coming back early. Pisses me off. Birdie, Drug Monkey RX, Mark Tequila, North Ender. On Bucks money line already locked in for North Ender. Spenny Penny Bombs is with me. Oh, huge score for Kyle Hintley on Tampa. Respect.
Beauty.
Shy Archie, I love it. Shy Archie, we've missed you. Smith Legacy, Nutflush Allen, Rodney Barton. There's Alex Hills after his second place performance in our poker tournament last night. All right, let's get to work right now. NHL here, Mr. Gokster. I'll just set up the table for Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins, and I'll get all of the line movement and the cash flow in action. There's Sweaty Butcher ready to go. All right, we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Detroit Red Wings 3-1-2, 1-0-1 on the road to the Boston Bruins, who are now 5-0 at home at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Tough place to play. I have Ville Husso, 2-0-1, 2 goals against average, .939 save percentage, 1 shutout. He's a big difference for the Red Wings back in net. Yeah. He is better than Alex Nedeljkovic. We've had our Nedeljkovic back and forth. Nedeljkovic will be a backup, maybe in the AHL, maybe in Europe 5 years from now. Yeah. Jeremy Swayman not looking so strong. He is not the number 1 goaltender in Boston. I wonder if he's vulnerable here. Detroit special teams look excellent. I like their new coaching staff. I like everything that's happening over in Motor City. 20.8% power play, 94.4% penalty killing. Boston power play at 19.2%, penalty killing at 92%. Red Wings come off a 6-2 loss at home to the Devils on Tuesday night. They're an angry group. The Bruins come in off a 3-1 win at home over the Stars on Tuesday night. Take it away, Mr. Gokster. The floor is yours.
All right, let's get the paper here. Get the papers in line. Husso, Swayman. Big question here for me, Jimmy, is Marchand going to be going here? He's not going tonight, is he? I don't think so, at least. But I'm just seeing there he did skate. So that is, he skated with Bergeron in practice, led the team, blah, 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 stretches. So he's could be back here soon, or at least ahead of schedule, like you said. They have a back-to-back, guys, against Columbus tomorrow. Boston at Columbus. That's why Swayman's getting the nod here. Allmark going tomorrow. I'm liking Boston more tomorrow, to be honest, Jim. Swayman's had 2 games. He's allowed 6 goals to Ottawa, 3 to Arizona. I don't like what I'm seeing from Swayman. And Husso on the other end, he had 1 bad game against the LA Kings, guys, 31-36. He had a shutout against Montreal and then allowed 1 goal against Anaheim. Jimmy said it. He's the much better of the 2 goalies. Penalty kills are humming. Detroit's got Minnesota on Saturday at home. I'm liking Detroit here, guys. I know it kind of is definitely against the numbers here. I've been, I lost it with Dallas against Boston on Tuesday, Jimmy. But here we got the line is ripe. I want to almost jump on it 3 ways, to be honest, brother. This is it's rare. I want to hear what you got to say though. I'm liking the team total over 2.5 for Detroit. I'm liking Detroit first period money line, and I'm liking Detroit full game money line.
I think it all makes sense. An angry group. The question is, and it's put perfectly here by Spenny Penny Bombs. I don't know how you can step in front of Boston right now, especially at home. So then if that is the case, then it probably is not a triple up spot. You probably need to find your favorite spot. There's been no market move towards Boston. They opened up at minus 218. They're still at minus 218. Let's see where the cash lies in this one. Just 3,871 tickets in. 17% of the tickets, 30% of the cash on the Red Wings.
Yeah,
that's a nice spot as well. 59% of the tickets and 94% of cash on the over. This is a game that you would want Tyler Bertuzzi available.
Yeah,
badly. Hurts not having him healthy. Let me pull up the.
Yeah, I hear that, Clint. I'm surprised Jose hasn't came in here and given me shit. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of the 3 then, Jim. I'm not going to take the first period because I'm just seeing here at home, Boston's 4-0-1 in the first period. So they've been fine the first, but that back-to-back at Columbus Friday tomorrow. So, and you got Allmark going. I'm going to take the team total over 2.5 for Detroit. And to be honest, I think Houston's getting them the win tonight. So I'll take the over 2.5 team total for Detroit, guys, minus 115, and give me that nice money line plus 195, Jimmy, on Detroit.
I like it. I like it.
I tried to tell you guys about these Bruins. Jimmy, I'm handling with kid gloves with Jimmy today, so I'm not going to rub it in too much. But my Bruins are back. David Krejci, we're back. We're back. Jimmy said it all last year. No David Krejci, no Bruins. Now David Krejci's back. Bruins with a non-asshole coach. Bruins.
You got Swayman though. That's my only thing there, Jose.
And he sucks ass. There's not Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas. I miss my guys.
Yeah, and Allmark, he's been the best goalie in the league. I think he's 5-0. So he's been really good for this team. But Swayman, I said it, guys. He allowed 6 against Ottawa on the road. And then even 3 against Arizona in that 6-3 win at home about 2 weeks ago. So I think Detroit are live here. You said it too. They're coming off that loss against New Jersey, 6-2. New Jersey was on a back-to-back there too. Didn't play too well. I expect them to have a much better performance, and that was with Nettle in net. So give me Detroit with confidence here.
You got the plus 195 on the Wings. Your team total 2.5 is minus 112.
Ooh, even better.
I get it. I get it. I really do.
I'm trusting this one. And you're right. Bertuzzi would definitely help. Strawman questionable for Boston. I'm gonna trust Detroit here. Goaltending. I'm really going on the goaltending here. Houston over Swayman.
By the way, Cashman, you don't need to worry about any of that. They'll put it into your account. So when you go into your poker account, it'll be there. You'll have the ticket. You'll be registered. Have you gone to why don't you right now go to the poker tournament and you'll be registered. If you're not registered now, they'll be on it really soon and you'll be registered in. They did that automatically last time. So do take a look and see if that's in. I
got the blessing from Mr. Nutflush.
Yeah. The team total over with the Wings.
Yeah.
Okay, you did. Okay, don't worry, Cashman. You'll get in. They were really good about that last time, but you'll get in 100%. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Look, I get it. I feel like it's sort of a pussy way out, taking the Red Wings first period, just using the attacking Swayman angle. This is a real confident group, and
I want 60 minutes though. I feel with Swayman. I've got that from you, Jim. If you think a team's better, you like the goalie advantage. Why take 20 when you can take 60? So
my thing here is that the Bruins are 5-0 at home and playing with such confidence right now in the Garden. And so I think you'd want to attack Swayman's psyche early and not give the Bruins an opportunity to get their shit together and attack. But I don't, I don't want to, friends don't talk friends off of dogs. And so I like what you're doing. Red Wings plus 195, team total over 2.5 and minus 112. I need to sit and think about this spot a little longer. There's Dabby Cab in the house. Just got back from a run. Dabby Cab did. Jesus.
Georgia Pie. Wow.
That guy's gonna live a long, healthy life.
And speaking of dogs, Jimmy, there was a bunch of dogs barking outside my window here earlier, so that could be a sign.
Well, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern, Montreal Canadiens 3-4-0, 0-2-0 on the road at the Buffalo Sabres, 4-2-0, 1-1-0 at home. We're at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. I think that this KeyBank Center over the next 5 years will be a place that other hockey teams don't want to go. This team is really, really good. Sure, they're very young, and you saw that on the final game of an extremely successful road trip. We watched them go into Edmonton, go into Calgary, and go into Vancouver and outscore those three teams by a combined 15-6. Dahlin and Owen Power are going to make this Sabres team an absolute juggernaut. They play with speed. They have good coaching. I love what Granato is doing. And the Habs, I think, will become an extremely predictable hockey team, one that we can fade on every road opportunity and either back or stay off them at home. I don't think you're going to get any glory fading the Canadiens at home. Jake Allen has been good. I did expect him to be good this year. I think he'll have a good season if he stays healthy. 2-3-0, 2.62 goals against average, 917 save percentage. And I've started to love Craig Anderson. I love the old guy. I love that he came back for another kick at it. I love that they're not overworking him. I hope he's in that tonight. He's 2-0 with a 1 goals against average, 970 save percentage. Remember what he did last year out of the gate. He was spectacular. Montreal power play at 4.8%. Now, the Sabres penalty killing is not that good, but give Dahlin and Power a couple years, and this penalty killing is going to be spectacular. They're going to be the best penalty killing team in the league. Power play at 13.6%. Habs coming off their second straight loss, 3-1 at home to the Wild on Tuesday night, and the Sabres had their 3-game winning streak snapped, 5-1 at the Kraken. It didn't look good. And Comrie's projected, says Derek Sutton. Okay. All right. Because I did this last night. But
sorry, he's had a lot of starts here, Comrie. Anderson's just been as good, but man, Mike Comrie or Eric Comrie, he's been solid too. Lost against Seattle, but 40 of 43, Jim, against Calgary. That's a lot of rubber. And then against Edmonton, both of those games he played, he saved 46 of 48, Jim. He stopped that. That's impressive. 40 of 43, 46 of 48, got the wins against Calgary and Edmonton. And this guy's been an AHLer for the most part. This is a guy who's actually ready. This is a guy I wouldn't be fading going forward until he proves otherwise, if there's an injury or something. So I was talking about it on the show Tuesday, Jim. I'd like Montreal and Buffalo's road trip, but what I'm seeing from Montreal, I'm in agreement here. I don't know. I don't like what I've been seeing from Allen. One thing too, that Slavkovsky, he's questionable. That guy seems to be a big spark. This team was, flying around the ice, beating Pittsburgh, beat Toronto their first game at home too. They're kind of coming back a bit here. I don't like this game enough. I was going to play Buffalo regulation here, Jim. I kind of want to still, but I have so much action here. I'm probably just going to lay off Buffalo, but I would lean towards Buffalo. And even, a team total. I had a great time with Pete there. He was really good at picking out these team total unders, Jim. He had like an under 3.5 on Boston. Boston won 3-2. Just impeccable. So I'm thinking of even taking a Montreal team total under here, guys. That would maybe be the look here, Jimmy. What do you think?
I thought about that exact bet as well. I'm a little concerned that I thought that I was going to beat this market move by getting in yesterday. I got in yesterday pretty early. I must have got in at 5 or 6 p.m. I thought I was going to beat this market move. Not beating the market move is upsetting. MDR 24 says last game, first game back. My whole thought process was that they got spanked by the Kraken and they'd come back here angry. But seeing the market not move towards them is a concern. I got the -1. I got the -1 at -106, -170 on the money line, which is where it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And +155 on the puck line. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6.5, heavily juiced to the over. I'm not entirely sure why it's heavily juiced to the over.
I agree there. Our guy North Ender just saying it just moved to 180.
That makes me feel a little better.
10 cents there.
Let's take a look at the cash flow just quickly here. You have 3,568 tickets in. 76% of the tickets, 85% of the cash, and the market hasn't been moving.
I'm seeing -160 opener in some spots now, up to 180, 185. I'm seeing it moving a bit here, Jim. I don't know. That's just the side I'm using here.
Well, that's a good sign. It's not moving at Pinnacle.
Okay, that's an important one. I'm gonna lay off. You know what I'm seeing, Jim? A team total under here at a book on Montreal under 3. Team total under 3, and it was -127. That's not too bad. They got to get 4 goals to beat you. That's where I'd be leaning. I'm not going to play this game, guys. But but that's where I'd be leaning in under 3 for Montreal.
Let me see what the team totals would be for me here. I'd be interested in that for sure. Let's just go down to the team total quickly. Team total for Le Habitant. I wouldn't be able to get that price. Let me see what price I would get on the 3 if I use the -1 calculator. Thank you to Ron Crawford for hooking us up with it. -190 and +135.
I'm on board with Ronnie today too.
Wow, that's a -123.
Yeah.
I like that look. I like that look a lot. DC Capper, what's happening?
What's the 76% penalty kill right now? 4% power play though for Montreal. I haven't been doing much.
It's important, you guys, as we talk about the line movements, to say what book it opened at. It's so crucial. And it's just important. It's very, very, very important because one of the reasons why we use Pinnacle is because they're very cautious, but they give you good lines. So they opened this up at -176 for Buffalo. They opened up -176 at 2:18 p.m. yesterday. DraftKings. Okay, thank you. No, don't apologize, my man. It's just it's just really going to help. It's really going to help. So interesting. So that must have just been attacked immediately, which it should. I'm going to add your bet here. I think it's a great one because getting the Habs team total under 3 at -123. If it's still available, I'm going to add as well.
That makes sense. And I'm seeing a big move. Our guy North Ender was right. FanDuel here. -170 at 11:09, 11:16, Jimmy, -184. So it just moved there. DraftKings too. DraftKings was at -165, -180 in like the last 7 minutes. So just recently it had a big move towards.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, DC Capper, Brooklyn first half was a thing of beauty. They're just falling apart in second half. So great work. I like that. I'm going to add that team total under with my Habs -1. And you're not making anything official here?
I'm going to stay off it, but obviously I like that. I like that play.
Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Wild 2-3-1, 1-0-1 on the road at Ottawa Senators 4-2-0, 4-0 at home. Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, Ontario, in Kanata, though, really. Marc-Andre Fleury against Anton Forsberg. Fleury 2-1-1, 4.30 goals against average, 869 save percentage. He's been bad. Forsberg 3-2-0, 2.82 goals against average, 904 save percentage. Minnesota's power play has been very strong. It's about the only thing working for them right now. 32% power play, 78.3% penalty killing. Birdie took the Wild in regulation here. Ottawa 25% power play, 76.2% penalty killing, and they've lost Norris for the season, which I hope, what it looks like for the season. I haven't dived too into it, but I'd love you to touch on that in a second here, Ghoster. It's a big loss. Minnesota comes in off a 3-1 win at Montreal on Tuesday. I almost picked him in the hockey pool. Thankfully, I didn't, but I came very close to. He was just gone before I could get to him. Senators coming off a 4-2 win at home. I have Stützle and Brady Tkachuk, so I'm pretty
not bad.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting in third right now in the pool, but I expect glory. Senators come in off a 4-2 win at home over Dallas on Monday night. Die Hard MMA podcast took Shane Pinto to win the Calder at 16-1.
Love that.
Spenny Pennybum says, kind of want to take Ottawa. Leaning Sens haven't got there yet. Let's take a look at the line history here for Minnesota, Ottawa. Take a look at the cash flow and then hand it over to Mr. Gogster. Here, line history. The Senators open up at +107. They're now +103. So a slight move towards the Senators. And then from a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5. I'm kind of, I think that I might want that full game under 6.5 rather than the team total at 3 for the Habs. Sorry, I don't like taking team totals on the underdog. I much prefer, if I'm going to bet a team total under, it has to be the favorite. I've almost never done that unless I'm really confident. That 6.5 is kind of screaming at me. I apologize to go back to it, but that's going to take some more study. I'm certainly not going to bet both. There's Terry saying, let's go Wild. Let's take a look at where the cash lies here in this one. They have given, Sports Insights has given the Minnesota Wild half line value, 50% line value. There's only one team with more, and that's the Chicago Blackhawks in Staylock. They've given them on a 4-game win streak full line value. 3,896 tickets in to this one. You have 33% of the tickets and 53% of the cash on Minnesota. 81% of tickets, 90% cash on the over. So clearly sharp money on the Minnesota Wild. Take it away, Gokster, Minnesota, Ottawa.
I just want to say first off there, Clint, love the Pinto look there. I might have to tail that myself, Jim. I think this guy's going to be a stud. Finally going to have a healthy year. If he stays healthy, that's the big thing. Looking at Norris, it doesn't look good. Looks like he's probably going to miss at least the majority of the season. Won't be back. Has to have surgery on his shoulder, I believe. So he's out. They've looked really good, though. Won their last 4 games at home. It's the first time, Jim, I think since it was 2005 or 2007, since the Ottawa Senators have won that many home games in a row. So they're playing their best hockey, but the injuries are creeping up. Also, Forsberg, he's probable, but he's been playing a lot. This Hellberg, Jimmy, he played that one game. I think it was their last game. I forget who they played against, but this Hellberg, guys, keep an eye on him. I think he's going to be good because eventually Forsberg, he's going to not break down, Jim, but he's had just a heavy workload, and I don't like him as being a number one for the full year. So if they can bounce back and forth between those two goalies, that'll help them. What I'm short and sweet here, guys. Minnesota after that bad start. I'm liking what I'm seeing for them, Jim. It was against Montreal, but I'll take Fleury in Minnesota here, guys. Just right now, Ottawa, they have looked really good. Bringing up their lines too, Jim. They just signed Kastelic too, 2-year contract. So he's a 4th liner. Tyler Mott, Pinto, Brassard, Giroux, DeBrincat. I just think this Minnesota team is gonna give him a little problems here, and I don't know about Forsberg going forward. And even their D-corps, Jim, they're calling up Zaitsev for Holden tonight, Ottawa. So you got Zaitsev, and I never like having Zaitsev on D for Ottawa. So and also MGM is where that 16-1 is. Thank you, Clint. So Ottawa's probably my team here, guys. Favorite team to follow, despite being a long-time Toronto fan. I think Ottawa's going to lose this one. Money line, give me Minnesota -120, and I want to play first period. Both teams to score here too, Jamie. But I'm going to lay off that play. I'm going to lay it off.
I think it's going to be a tricky transition to having Derek Brassard as a second-line center. I can understand the rookie of the year look on Pinto because he's going to have to – he's the one who's going to need – if this team's going to take things to the next level.
He's got to release.
I do not expect Brassard to be able to be a top 6 forward over an 82-game season here. You can get -120 available at 5 dimes for your Minnesota Wild look. Viper on Minnesota Wild -1. That's music to Terry's ears. Bo Jackson's on the Senators here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have. It's hard for me to say sometimes, Jim, when you got the gut feels here. This is definitely a gut feel of Minnesota because Ottawa's been playing really well, but just kind of seeing Ottawa and how they've been playing. I think Minnesota's they're gonna score some goals here too. I don't want to take their over 3.5, but what was it? It was a minus. I don't have the number down, but it's pretty juiced. I think there's going to be some goals. I'm not high on the defense for Ottawa, even with Zaitsev in.
Sweaty Butchers prime cut Ottawa, Minnesota over 6.5. There's Matty Ice. The poker tournament was won by Cashman 19. He beat Alex Hills. They went heads up. And in third place, we had Drink in Hand. I get it. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling.
Norris is really that's gonna hurt Ottawa. You guys are gonna see their offense is gonna start to go down. He was probably their number one. He is their number one scorer on the team, next to DeBrincat once he starts getting going. But Norris is a big loss, big one for Ottawa.
Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. Florida Panthers 4-2-1, 2-2-0 on the road at the Philadelphia Flyers, 4-2-0, 2-1-0 at home. We're at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if it's changed. I've got Bobrovsky, Carter Hart. Bobrovsky has not gotten the season off to a very good start. He certainly did last year when we were ready to give up on him. I did say by the end of the year, Spencer Knight will be the starting goaltender, maybe by halfway through the year, maybe by the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. Carter Hart has gotten off to a great start, and it's good to see. 2 years ago, it was really sad watching him out there. He's 4-0, 1.75 goals against average, .949 save percentage, and it's good. Florida power play without Huberdeau on it, 6.1%. They're having some trouble there. Penalty killing, 77.4%. Philadelphia power play, 20, and penalty killing, 77.8%. God, I despise Tortorella, but what a job he has done early with these Flyers. Let's take a look at the line history here. The Panthers open up at minus 191. At 7:30 this morning, the market had moved towards the Flyers. That's not the case anymore. There's been a 6-cent move towards the Panthers. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5, juiced quite heavily to the over. Now it's juiced slightly to the under at 6.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. We have 3,555 tickets in. 52% of the tickets and 99% of the cash is on the Flyers. I did look, thinking about that 4-2 loss at Chicago on Tuesday night. I thought yesterday, I was like, do I move on Florida here? And they just can't prove that they can win on the road. And I know that they're trying to kind of change the squad with the big trade, make them tougher to play against. Mm-hmm. But until they can prove that they can win on the road, how can I take them at a big favorite line? The answer is that you can't. The Flyers come in off a 3-0 home loss versus the Sharks on Sunday, so they're rested, they're angry. Brady says, I love the under here, 6.5, especially at plus money. Florida power play struggling badly, and we know Torts plays responsible defense. Hart goals against average south of 2. Love the under here from Brady. Yeah. I get that. Take it away, Ghoster.
Yeah, under is what I just before the show was thinking towards. Also, Florida. I think Florida's going to get her done here, guys. But the thing is, Carter Hart is thriving under Tortorella. Bernie was saying it there. 31-32 Hart against Nashville, 36-38 against Tampa, 28-30 against Vancouver. He hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in any of these games. And those 2 losses for Florida, they're not good losses. This team's better than that, Jimmy. I know I was saying some bad things about Matthew Tkachuk. I take those back. He looked very fine out there. He's been playing. He's been fine. I don't know what. Just bad day or something. But yeah, Bobrovsky. That's the question mark. I think it's a good bounce back spot for him. Big question for me, Jimmy, is all these injuries for Philly. The injury bug's caught up to Philly again. JVR's out. Atkinson's out. Couturier is not looking good. Ristolainen, he's probable, but he's banged up. Tippett's questionable. They got these injuries that are starting to creep up here, so they're starting to lose some more offense. The under makes complete sense. You know what? I'm going to play that. That's going to be my play here, guys. Under 6.5, minus 110. Hart's playing well enough. I do think Florida's going to win this game, though. I don't. Now, regulation's a little juicy, but you know what? The play maybe actually for me might be Philadelphia team total under 2.5. That sounds like a good play in my opinion, Jim.
You're right about these injuries. I mean, with the injuries that have crept into Philadelphia's lineup, I mean, the Farabee Hayes Konechny line is good, but then you have Noah Cates, Scott Loughton, and Owen Tippett on the second line, Allison Frost and Sedlak on the third line, and you have an angry Panthers squad.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Panthers, guys. It might be a puck line Panthers. The Panthers might smash them here, Jim. Like 5.
It certainly wasn't.
Yeah, sorry, but the only thing is Hart's been playing well, right?
He has been. That was certainly an ugly loss against the Sharks, and this was not a team with much depth. And when they started off the year so soundly and strongly because of they had until they faced these injuries, their lineup wasn't that bad. I remember looking at them after the first couple games. I was like, you know what? Why did I think they were going to be so bad? They outshot San Jose 30-25. They won 38-29 in the face-off circle. No one's coming to these games either. 14,512 fans at the last Flyers game. I mean, when was the last time that happened? This is such a passionate fan base. To see the rink 74% full. God, you know what? I'm starting to move towards expecting the.
I got my bet, Jim. I got it. I'm taking Florida Panthers and the under 6.5 at plus 180. Let's fucking go. Sorry about my language, guys. I'm taking Florida Panthers to win this game. It's kind of getting a little cute here, but I think Florida's going to win this, and I don't see it getting too up there. So give me Florida Panthers, guys, and the under 6.5 plus 180. I think that's the one.
Under 6.5 and the Panthers to take care of business. What would the -1 line be on the Panthers on the road? God, I get a pit in my stomach. Expect -210 and plus 115. I mean, that's just way too expensive. Let me just see what it would be. -210 and minus 210 plus 115 would be a minus 144. That's just too expensive.
Yeah, the only issue would be is if like Florida comes out 2-0 or like they jump all over them like 3-0 after like halfway through the game. Like that'd be my only worry is Florida really explodes here. But I'm trusting Carter hard. Defensively, they've been accountable. It's Tortorella's, that's their recipe. So
Dan Bonner saying Bob typically plays very, very well against the Flyers. 19-5-1 in his career with a 2.28 goals against average, 925 save percentage. Yeah, he's always held a grudge towards this team for the way he was bounced.
Yeah, I think the under's the play here. All the movement too. Everyone in the chat. So I like the under here, guys. I like it.
All right, I'm interested in the under 6.5. I'm also interested in the Panthers, but at what price? Let's move on to St. Louis Blues at Nashville Predators. Blues 3-2-0, 2-1-0 on the road. Predators 2-4-1, 1-2-1 at home. At Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Thomas Greiss looks like he will be between the pipes. Let me know if that's changed. He's had a decent game to start out the season. Going up against UC Saros, 1-3-1, 3.04 goals against average, 894 save percentage. St. Louis power play at 25%. Penalty killing still at 100%, but they're on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 3-1 at home to the Oilers last night with Skinner in net. Nashville power play at 6.9%. Penalty killing at 85.2%. I took the under 6.5 when the Predators played the Columbus Blue Jackets because of how bad both power plays were, and they scored 8 even-strength goals combined in that game. But the Preds coming off their 5th straight loss, 3-1 at home to the Flyers on Saturday night, and they're an angry group, an arrested group. I mean, talk about the rest advantage that the Predators have over the Blues. What up, BT? Great to see you. Brady says Nashville -1.5 and -2.5 for your a hostile scheduling spot for the Blues. There's a lot of truth to that very difficult scheduling spot for the Blues. Let's just take a look quickly at the cash we have here. We have 3,568 tickets in, 64% of tickets in cash on the Predators, 75% of tickets and 86% cash on the under. The Blues are playing, real sound hockey right now. Maybe this is another under staring us in the face. Let's just take a look at the line history, and then I'll hand it over to Gokster. We have Nashville opening up at -159. They're now -168, a 9-cent move towards them. That makes sense. And from a total perspective, you have I guess it's a slight move towards the under. And the Blues are a real quality squad. And what up, Sharpie? Great to see you. Lee Davis is on the Blues here. It reminds me a little bit of the Lightning off the loss. Do you really want to test a team with St. Louis Blues of their caliber after a loss that makes them an angry group with a short trip to Nashville? Take it away here. My fucking fire alarm's being a bitch. I gotta fuck with it. I'll be right back. Ghoster, take it away though. Blues Predators.
All right, let's rock and roll here, guys. Nashville and St. Louis. I'm on the no goal. I'm taking a no goal first 10 minutes here, guys. The spot here, someone brought it up here. I'm just looking at that spot for St. Louis. It's awful, Jose. They were on West Coast road trip on Saturday at Edmonton, played Winnipeg on Monday, came home, played Edmonton yesterday. Now have to go back on the road the next day to Nashville. So it's not a good spot. Then they're coming home on Saturday against Montreal. So they're all over the place. The under does make sense. Greiss is going to be in net. They've only scored here, Jose. The Blues have had 2 goals, 0 and 1. They haven't been scoring in the last 3 games, and they're on a back-to-back against a team that's really pissed off, has a good enough defense. I'm pretty high on Saros despite, a pretty short net there, but I think he's a solid goalie. What I'm thinking here, guys, I'm going to take the no goal first 10 minutes here, plus 128. And I'm also just looking it up here. I'm thinking St. Louis. I don't see why they're going to get 3 goals. They haven't been able to the last 3 games they played, and this is a bad spot. You got a pissed off Nashville team who's really, they're only missing Borowiecki there. I don't know if you guys saw that hit. Jose, you should look at it there. Guy got knocked right the F out. Wasn't really the body check. It was more the boards that knocked him out. So, but yeah, he's missing. Other than that, Nashville's healthy. Saad and Buchnevich are out for St. Louis. So I'm pretty high, Jimmy, on the no goal first 10 minutes, even unders. But I think a St. Louis team total under here. I was just saying they haven't scored more than 3 goals in the last 3 games, and it's a rough spot for St. Louis here. So what is it here? Minus 108, 2.5. I'm going to play that. I'm going to take St. Louis team total under 2.5, Jim. -1 at weight I'm seeing here. And I'm also going to take the no goal first 10 minutes plus 128.
Sorry, no goal first 10. Great to have Deacon Mike back in the chat. We love you, Deacon. Jonathan Yim says, tell Jose to split the cash if he cashes in the big 250K. I love it. J.M., you were great in the tournament. No goal first 10 was at what?
Plus 128. It's going to be the only one on the card here for no goal this game.
Okay.
And St. Louis team total under 2.5, Jim. Nashville wins this game. I'm going to rely on what I've seen here from the Blues. And, I'm going to trust the under 2.5, -108.
And Danny Lopez found that for you at -102. Thank you, Danny. I feel like the under is very much in play, and I really get what Birdie's talking about. You know, he's saying that, look, Nashville is 0-5, and they're a -160 favorite versus a good Blues team. I mean, that's telling you that the Predators are going to take care of business here.
And defensively, I think they're going to be accountable here, Jim. How are they not going to win this game without being accountable? They've allowed 3 against Philly, 5 against the Blue Jackets, 4 against the Kings, 5 against Dallas. This is a perfect spot. You got St. Louis. The scheduling, someone in the chat said they're right. It's an awful spot here for St. Louis. They're going to play. They've been 2 games up in the West Coast, up in Alberta, Jim. Came home against who was it? They're just last night against Edmonton, and now have to go back on the road to Nashville, and then come home Saturday to play Montreal. It's like, holy shit! Like, they're just bouncing around, and you're gonna have your backup goalie in net.
I think this is screaming Preds. I wonder why Lee Davis is. I guess Lee Davis is expecting a good Blues team to bounce back after the loss last night. Dan Bonner says, hey, Gokster, I'm going to reach out to you on Twitter. He's an engineer, and he's been tracking every game when a goal scored. Says got some really good info and wouldn't mind sharing.
Can't wait. Send her my way there, Danny. I got Ego47_, and check her out tonight.
Sky Dragon also won St. Louis money line. Birdie's saying that Euro trip really set Nashville back. They've gotten rest, and they will be a bet on for the next little while.
Good point.
God, that's food for thought. I do like the under 6.5 quite a bit. Especially with the way the Blues have been playing, and I'm going to have to make a decision on Nashville here. So I've got more decisions to make in this one. All right, let's move on. Next up, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Edmonton Oilers at Chicago Blackhawks. We're at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Jack Campbell, I had this, I was following along the game last night, and I was not sold on the Jack Campbell signing. And this could be another situation where we have a guy getting a big contract and not stepping up. Interesting.
If a goalie comes from Toronto, you probably don't want him. So
Edmonton 4-3-0, Blackhawks 4-game winning streak. Campbell 3-2-0, 3.62 goals against average, 895 save percentage. Stalock, of all people, 3-1, 2.09 goals against average, 938 save percentage. We knew Chicago would still be able to score even without DeBrincat. 33.3% power play, 81.5% penalty killing. But they're an easy team to play. Edmonton 31.8% power play, 73.3% penalty killing. Deacon Mike says betting Chicago to score over 2.5 at -120 says a no-brainer. Lee Davis is also on the Blackhawks here. Interesting. By the way, Deacon Mike gave us some really interesting stats here earlier that I didn't point out. Let me get it here. He was saying the amount of games that have gone over. Where is it? I think I've missed it. The games that have gone over 6 goals. Can you hit us with that again, Deacon? My bad. I thought that I had that up here. Hit me with that again. Oilers on the second half of the back-to-back after defeating the Blues 3-1 last night. Blackhawks 4-2 win at home versus the Panthers. And let's take a look at the line history here for this one. People are underestimating the Blackhawks. That's been the key.
Yeah, I have.
I don't know what to do. They're going to be a fade at some point. The question is when. Edmonton opening up -210. That got down to -191. It's back at -201 right now. And this total of 6.5 was juiced heavy to the over. It's not. There's been a 10-cent move to the under, which is interesting. And then from a cash flow percent, I already told you that the Blackhawks have full line value according to Sports Insights. 25% of the tickets, 59% of the cash on the Blackhawks, and 85% of the tickets 98% of the cash on the over, and there's been a 10-cent move to the under. And there's the number. It said 60 games with 6 goals or more, 37 under. Brady says, agree, Jimmy, especially at home. For me, this is the Blackhawks or nothing, and it will be nothing. It will certainly be nothing for me. But I recognize that there's sharp money on the Blackhawks. What are you doing here, Gogster?
Yeah, I agree with the Chicago or nothing. This is my 10-foot pole game, as I like to say, Jim. I don't want anything to do with it. Stay away. Both power plays are humming, 35%, 33. A penalty kill for Chicago is 81%, 74 for Edmonton. So I really don't know where to go with this game. Chicago's been really good, beating Florida, Seattle, Detroit. Edmonton's also been pretty good, beating Pittsburgh and St. Louis after that 2-0 loss. This could be a letdown spot for Edmonton. It could be. But I don't want anything. I lean to the under too, but I'm going to stay off this game, guys. I think, I don't got much, Jim.
Yeah, I get it. It is a tricky spot. Let's move on to a game I almost bet. I almost bet, but I was like, wow, market moving towards the Capitals, and I just stayed off. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Capitals 4-3-0, 1-2-0 on the road at the Dallas Stars, 4-2-1, 2-0 at home, American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. I did not think Ottinger would come out of the gate as spectacular as he looked in the playoffs, and he's done that. And I was wrong. 4-1-0, 1.41 goals against average, 953 save percentage. He looks excellent. Darcy Kemper, 3-2-0, 3.04 goals against average, 899 save percentage. I told everybody that he was not going to have good numbers as a Capital netminder, and I stand by that. But, you're going to be right on some of these and wrong on some others. Washington power play, 25%, penalty killing, 73.7%. Dallas power play, 26.1%, penalty killing, 88.2%. Nice special teams there. Capitals coming off their second straight win and fourth in 5 games, 6-3 at the Devils on Monday night. Stars coming off their second straight loss, 3-1 at Boston on Tuesday night, and they come on home. There's been a 10-cent move away from the Stars. They opened minus 128, now minus 118. They got down to minus 114. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5, and it's now at 6. The 6 move came at 7:53 this morning, and it was plus 105 to the under. It's now minus 1. It's now juiced to the under 6. You know what? That's a mistake I made. I should have recognized that the under was the play with these two teams, especially with Dallas. How many 6.5s are you going to see with Dallas this year? 2,748 tickets in, and 56% of tickets, 85% of cash is on Dallas, and the market's moving towards Washington. 44% of tickets and 78% cash on the over, and it's dropped a half goal. This is another tricky spot. Let's hear it just quickly from the chat. North Ender saying Ottinger is a beast, but playing behind the Stars helps too. Rocco Rogers says on Dallas here, Ottinger looks amazing to me right now, better than he ever has. I see the market moving, but I don't understand. Even with Heiskanen out, I like the Stars. Another 6.5 I got this morning. Great job getting that 6.5. Clint saying the Caps are another team that I keep underestimating, and they just keep doing the damn thing. I do not think they're going to make the playoffs, but I could be wrong. And Birdie says Vezina futures need to be placed on Ottinger. Wow, he said he took the bait on the Stars tonight. Take it away, Gokster. Caps, Stars.
Yeah, futures on Ottinger. I agree completely. I was top high on Ottinger, Jim. I'm going to say this is compared to Neto Djokovic. I was wrong with him. Ottinger, guys, just top goalie in the league. This game, though, Jim, more I'm thinking about it, I'm without Heiskanen, that's not good for Dallas.
No.
Defend. He's got offense, pushes the puck up. He's accountable. He's just there. He's their go-to, really. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I had Dallas written down, guys, but I have lean. This is like my only lean, so I'm. It's a bit of a dice game here. I have a lean to the over too. I think we're going to see some goals. Kemper has not been that good of late, Jim. 23 of 26 against LA, 39 of 42 against Ottawa, 26 of 30 against Vancouver. Guy's allowing at least 3 goals in his last 3 games. It's been Charlie Lindgren, that's been has been playing a lot better lately. So. I don't know what to do with this one, to be honest, too, guys. I have a lean towards Dallas, but I don't want to bet it. I think there can be goals, though. I think there can be goals. Just don't have a good feel on this game, Jimmy. Everyone in the chat here. Heiskanen is big. So if Heiskanen was in, Jim, I would be on. I don't want to say just one player, but I lean towards Dallas, guys. Just not confident enough to play it. Washington off that LA run, coming off Coke is a bitch. I expect a flat game from the Caps tonight. Yeah, that's a way to put her. Now they got Washington Saturday. Dallas have the Rangers at home Saturday. Nothing. I don't got a good feel on this one, Jim. I lean over and I lean Dallas.
Yeah, the market is a concern here. Sammy Culmer in the house. Ron Crawford joining us. Same with Parlangel, AOD. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is your Minnesota Wild. So you have Ron Crawford and Gokes. They're both on the Minnesota Wild with Norris out of the lineup. Top 6 forward, second line centerman, and a key cog on the power play. But they are 4-0 at home. Remember, the Senators are 4-0 at home. Bruins are 5-0 at home. And spreadsheet play today on the Wild. We move on to 10 p.m. Eastern, and the Vancouver Knuckleheads make it very difficult to be a fan of this franchise. All we know is losing. 0-5-2 to start the year. That's a nice way of putting a 7-straight losing streak to start the year. They've only played 2 games at home. Didn't look good. That 5-1 loss to Buffalo was a kick to my fucking larynx. Kraken 3-3-2, 1-2-1 at home. We're at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. Thatcher Demko has just a putrid defense in front of him.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's ugly. It's so ugly, and it's so important to have a defense that you can trust, and it helps the offense. It helps the goaltending to have confidence. It helps everything. And this forward group, like this Pedersen, Mikheyev, Kuzmenko line I thought was going to be really good, and we'll have to wait. The bottom 6 forwards have hope, but Miller, Horvat, Garland, Mikheyev, Pedersen, and Kuzmenko, that line, they should be rolling here. Tyler Myers is not good. I hated the signing. They've moved Shen back to the third line defensive pairing with Quinn Hughes out. They go hand in hand. Shen protects Quinn Hughes on the ice. Shen, I go off on Eric Brunson because he's a tough guy, but he didn't step up for anybody. He just picked and chose when he wanted to fight, and I despise him. But Luke Shen protects players, and he protects Quinn. But that Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I hated the trade. I hated grabbing this guy's fucking contract. But him and Myers need to step up. They have to step up and make it easier for Demko, who I think is a very good goaltender. Martin Jones looks like he'll be in between the pipes for Seattle. He's a fade. 3.31 goals against, average 870 save percentage. The Vancouver power play has got to step up. It has a ton of skill, but now with Quinn Hughes out, you can't expect it to roll too much. 16% power play, but 57.1% penalty killing. It makes me want to throw a computer through a window. Makes me so angry. I don't know if you could feel the anger I have watching our penalty killing unit, but it's all about the defense. These fucking ass clowns on defense are so bad. Seattle power play at 29%, penalty killing at 69%. Kraken come off a 5-1 win at home to the Sabres on Tuesday night. They feel good about themselves. I do think that the Canucks will win this hockey game tonight. I love the rivalry they're trying to create with Vancouver and Seattle. There's no rivalry yet. The market has moved briskly towards the Seattle Kraken. Well, I look at I thought for sure that I was going to be beating a line move. It's only a 5-cent move that's gone against me at Bet365, plus 105 to plus 110. But Pinnacle has had Vancouver up to plus 121, which makes me think that I'm maybe on the wrong side, and I may be betting with my heart, and I may be expecting something that won't happen here with the Canucks bouncing back. They're a better team than they've shown, but their defense has to step up. The sharp money's on the Kraken, 38% tickets, 61% of cash on the money line, and then 52% tickets, 98% cash on the over. Take it away for us here. Bo Jackson and Kraken 3-11-0 at home against the Pacific Division. Take it away here, Gokster, for us, Canucks, Kraken.
That's a nice stat, little 3-11 against the Pacific. More at first, that's a tough one too. These last few games here, guys, not as easy as the first 5. But what I'm thinking of doing here, Jim, is Vancouver have a back-to-back against Pittsburgh tomorrow in Pittsburgh. That's going to be the tougher of the two, and they're going to have their backup goalie going more likely than not. So that's what really made me think this would be the game to win. And also Seattle's penalty kill is 69% on the year, which isn't that good. So No Hughes hurts too. Defensively, both these teams are not that good defensively, guys. Goaltending, Jones is no, he's a sieve really. He looked okay against Buffalo, but Buffalo's in an awful spot. I'm going to rock and roll here, Jim, with both teams to score. First period plus 135. I think both teams can score in the first. And overtime, I think Seattle's defense is so weak that they've been giving up games a lot this year. I think Vancouver can get this win. I think they can come out. Might even be an overtime game, 4-3. Could get up there with the goals. But I like Vancouver on the money line plus one. What is it now? Plus 115 or something like that, Jim?
The money line, we can get you up to plus 118.
I'll take it.
It's in Vancouver. They're not flying to Pittsburgh after the game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Why did I say that? I got versus Pittsburgh here. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't like that spot. And also Pittsburgh coming off those losses. So it's not, this is the much easier, the 2 wins. We're getting plus money. Jones is in net. And they're going to have Yari, I believe, going tomorrow because I think DeSmith went their last game. So it's going to be a tough spot for Vancouver tomorrow. But this one here, just Seattle's been giving up leads all year, Jim. I've been really watching this team. They can score. Both of these teams can really put the puck in the net. It's just defensively, give me Demko over Jones and a team that hasn't won yet. I know Bruce Boudreau's going for, I think, his 600th win too, Jim. I hope he gets it.
For Boudreau to be fired, and it could happen, Cindy, but Aquilini is Boudreau's pick, and Aquilini's got his stubby fat fingers all over this hockey team. He's all over this team. Yeah. And he picked Boudreau. He got his private jet and picked up Boudreau and his wife. So I understand that the new management, this Boudreau isn't the pick, but it was Aquilini's pick. And so this team has to lose at least 10 straight before we can start talking about that. But look, Cindy, 66-1 is gorgeous. So it's a great look. Oh God, I
think it's tonight, buddy. I think you're gonna get your first win tonight, Jim. I really do. I'm on it with you. Plus 118. Let's confidence here, baby. It's all what we need. Gonna get their first win. Seattle's not a good hockey team. They're coming off a nice win too against Buffalo, so they're kind of feeling a little better about themselves after that loss against Chicago. Vancouver's winning this game. Let's go. Plus 118. And both teams score first period plus 135.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you had both teams to score first period. Both teams score first. And what was that? Plus 135?
135, brother.
Oh, Thatcher. Come on, Thatcher, baby.
Come on, baby.
God, I hate these games that start at 10 p.m. out here. But I'll be at a poker night anyways. If you think I'm tired and angry this morning, oh, God. But maybe I make $1,000 and I'm rolling. Ronnie says, rumor has it Rick Tocchet ready to take over. Wow, I wouldn't be against that, but wow. All right, but let's just bring him in. Let's just bring him in as assistant coach here. Let's move on. Okay, we got to get into the NFL and then NBA and NCAA football. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Pub Sports Radio. We have 2 games left in the NHL, so let's get through them. Winnipeg Jets and Los Angeles Kings. Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles, California. This Jets power play at 10.5%, penalty killing at 73.3%, Kings 16.2%, and penalty killing at 80.6%. Maybe that's what we need. You're a good call, AJ. I love what AJ's bringing. AJ's trying to get me out of this seething anger that I have. Let's get Maggie Thatcher Demko. We need to pull him back out. We'll get Jose to bring back Maggie, because when I look for Maggie, I just see pictures of beautiful old women in our log. Also, you know what else I see though? Friday. We're 8 days away from Breeders' Cup, baby. Friday, and we are 9 days away from Championship Saturday. Thank you for having those ready to go. Jose, if you could find our Maggie Thatcher Demko, that's what I need to see. I need to see Maggie Thatcher Demko. Rod Zawacki in the house.
Rod.
Piker, we need you in those fancy poker tournaments. Okay, let's get into this one here. The Jets come in off a 4-0 win at home over the Blues on Monday night. Kings come in off a 4-2 win at home over the Lightning on Tuesday night. I think the Kings are a dangerous squad. Both teams are fresh. Winnipeg's been in LA for a little bit. I wonder how that will affect them. I wonder if they went out and partied at all. I'm sure they were happy to get out of Winnipeg and get to somewhere nice and warm. But there's not been a market move towards the Kings. It's just staying flat at minus 140. This total, there's been a slight move, like 4 or 5 cents towards the under. We'll take a look at the cash flow here in this one. And we have 69% of the ticket, 70% of the cash on Winnipeg. So that explains the market not moving towards the Kings. 52% of tickets, 73% cash on the over. We've seen the Jets look pretty good outside of Winnipeg. They had a real tough spot after they beat the Avalanche when they had to play Vegas. But that was an impressive win in Colorado. Take it away for us, Ghoster, Jets Kings.
All right, I'm going to rock with both teams to score, guys. First period. It's going to be plus 145. Defensively, Jim, for Winnipeg, that's my problem right now. Stanley and Sandberg are questionable, so obviously having those guys in the lineup are going to help them defensively. Without them, I just having less of your number ones, less of your top defense on back there is just not good. 25-25 for Hellebuck. Hellebuck's been pretty good, but he's back and forth. No Ehlers. Arvidsson's questionable for LA Kings. I'm taking both teams to score here first period. I don't feel as strong on this one, Jim, in all honesty, transparent, right? But Winnipeg's quick hockey team, both of these teams are, fast hockey teams. And also Winnipeg, I think, want to get off to a nice start if they can, because they got a back-to-back against Arizona tomorrow, Jim, on the road. So expended, try to get the lead and just not sit on it, right? But they don't want to be playing down in this game, I think, Winnipeg. So both teams to score first period early. And I have a lean to the LA Kings here, but not at minus 140. I think that line's pretty good. But yeah.
We can get you plus 160 at MGM. I would be on the Kings 10 times out of 10 in this spot. But I can't. Dude, I think they're going to be a tough team to play at home, and they haven't shown that so far this year. Cody AV, I'm doing whatever I can to get the Canucks out of this funk.
What's up, Cody?
All right. Penny Bomb saying Jets. Great to have Rod Zawacki in the chat. His birthday weekend is the Breeders' Cup. I hope you can join us on screen, Rod. Yes. Love capping with you. Both teams to score. We got you the plus 160. Both teams to score in the first period. All right. Let's move on to Leafs Sharks. Last game before we move on to NFL. We're at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Eric Shalgren, I do not trust at all here. 3.05 goals against average, 833 save percentage. Kakinen, 0-3-0, 3.46 goals against average, 873 save percentage. Both the goalies I do not trust. Toronto power play 22.2%, penalty killing 80.8. San Jose's power play just 7.4%, but strong penalty killing at 96.2. Leafs had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 3-1 loss at Vegas on Monday night. There was a lot of talk about what they were going to do after that game, and there was an expectation that they were going to party. So they had that. They knew that they had the night off in Toronto. I have no idea. I wonder if anybody does know. The Sharks coming off a 4-2 loss at Vegas on Tuesday night. So both of these teams travel from Vegas, but the Leafs had at least one night off in Vegas. Take it away for us here, Gokster. Leafs, Sharks. Oh, let me give you a quick line history here. And then this is the final game before we move on to NFL. We have the Leafs opening up minus 237. They're now minus 206. And there's been a huge move. There was a 17-cent move towards the Leafs, towards the Sharks 35 minutes ago. Huge move. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6.5, minus 114 to the under. It's now just minus 112 to the under. So no movement there. So you imagine that some big tickets are coming in on the Sharks, and they must be. 12% of the tickets are on the Sharks, but 28% of the cash, and then 65% of tickets, 81% cash on the over. Take it away for us, Gokster. Leafs, Sharks.
They're changing up the lineups here for Toronto. Kerfoot's joined Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, replacing Bunting. So Bunting's, where is he now? He's on the fourth line, it looks like, with Yankrock and Malgin. So they're really shaking up their lines here, looking for offense. I don't know if I like that a lot. What I'm going to play here, guys, is Calgren's been bad, Jim. He's been bad. I don't like this game really either, to be honest. Kakinen, you have two bad goalies, Jimmy. Like, I'm talking bad. in my opinion here. Kakanen's been okay, 34-36, but then 20-25 against Chicago, 15 of 18 against Nashville. That was in Europe. Both penalty kills, 96% penalty kill for San Jose. I do like that. 22% power play Toronto. San Jose's not scoring on the power play. Benino's out. Injuries, Jim. Defensively, Muzzin, Ben, Lindgren, 3 guys right there out. Looks like Tavares is questionable after taking that puck. So the number is pretty high for Toronto there. I could see it coming back down. I'm gonna take another both teams to score first period, Jim, plus 145 here. Both teams lost to Vegas. Don't like the goaltending matchup here. I think they can both score. This is a lot easier than what you're going to see against guys like Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. You got Chalgren, and Kakkonen. So I like the both teams to score here, and I have also a lean towards San Jose's team total over 2.5 at -120. Jim, just the injuries on defense are not good for Toronto, and now you got your AHLer in net. So, and then Tavares is questionable. They're shaking up the lines, pretty, bunting on the fourth line. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing here, Jim. So question marks here for Toronto. This could be a San Jose spot, but I don't want to play San Jose on the money line. If anything, I feel more comfortable, Jim, taking, more I'm talking about this. Give me San Jose over 2.5 to -120 is what I believe it is here. I'll just double check that. But I do think San Jose is going to score some goals here. Defensively, Toronto's banged up. Kallgren and net, I don't like. And give me San Jose team total over, Jim. It's -113. Perfect. -113, even better. I'm seeing.
You got it. Over 2.5 -113. Sky Dragon on Nylander to score and Sharks money line. So interesting looks there. Let's review all NHL. Ghosters on the Red Wings at +195 and the team total over 2.5 -112. I have interest in the Wings. That's where it stands right now. It's just hard to get in the way of this Bruins team right now. And I moved on the Sabres -1. I'm interested in the under 6.5 or the Habs team total under 3. That's going to take a little time. Know something. We love you, man. Yeah, keep firing questions and we got a bunch of great cappers that will hit you up. So, hit us anytime. Throw questions, and thank you, MDR, for answering them. Ron Crawford is spreadsheet play days on Minnesota, and Mr. Gokster's also on the Wild. I'm off that spot. With the injuries to the Flyers, I wonder but the Panthers have to prove they can win on the road before you take them with such juice. But the under 6.5 is appealing, and Gokster moved on the Panthers and under 6.5 combo at +180.
I love that.
Gokster, no goal first 10 minutes in Blues Nashville +128, and he's on the Blues team total under 2.5 -102. And I think that it's probably best not to fade the Blues or a good team after a loss, but the market's screaming the Predators. I also like the under 6.5 there. Oilers, Blackhawks, we stayed off as we did with Caps, Stars. I'm on the Canucks. I got +105. Gokster got +118. He also got both teams to score in the first at +135. Gokster got both teams to score in the first with Winnipeg Kings at +160. He did it again with San Jose Toronto +145, and the Sharks team total over 2.5. That is NHL for us. Let's move on to NFL right now. DC Capper saying you're smoking the NFL, Jimmy. Notice your record's impressive. Great job. It really, it's not quite how it looks because I started the season hotter than I ever have in any sport in my life. So I started 33-4 against the spread and with totals.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's still very good, but I mean, I started out absolutely dominant. I basically given, $2,000 back. Basically given 10 units back. So. I know that you are what your overall record says you are, but I don't feel like I've got a huge handle on what's happening here. And I haven't moved on this game. 8:15 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Ravens 4-3, 2-1 on the road at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-4, 1-2 at home at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. I wonder if there's been any change in the weather because they have thunderstorms that turn into showers as of Tuesday night, but with very little wind. Let's just see if that's changed at all because that's very important here, the weather. Let's move over here. So we have scattered thunderstorms at 9. So no, it looks fine. It looks like there's some scattered thunderstorms. I guess the showers. When do the showers even start? I guess they're past. So there's just scattered thunderstorms. So the weather's going to be better than I expected it to be as of Tuesday. Christopher Comentini says Bucks being favored is telling. Sharpie has Godwin receiving yards over 72.5. With Evans with a limp hammy, Godwin has had double-digit targets in 3 of the last 4 games, and week by week, starting to look like Godwin from last year. There it is from Sharpie. That's a great look. That is a great look here. Let me get that going and copy and paste that. Great stuff, Sharpie. Makes a ton of sense. These teams, one thing we have to do is if you've lost money on the Buccaneers or the Ravens, because they're combined 0-8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games combined. If you just let that shit go, you have to let that shit go. And I know it's affecting me with both of these teams, and it's something that needs to be discussed right off the top. The look ahead for this game in the summer was the Bucks -4. And even last week, before the debacle in Carolina, it was Bucks -3. And obviously, everybody saw the same thing, and everybody's watching the invincible Tom Brady look very valuable. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have the Bucks opening up at -1.5. That's where they stand right now. But this was a pick'em yesterday at 4 p.m. And this was worse than that. This went from -1.5 to +1.5. So right when this line opened up, people started hammering the Ravens, and the Bucks got up to +2.5 at a pick'em on Monday after what happened in Carolina.
Wow.
So there's been a 4-point move towards the Buccaneers since the early bettors kind of, or the sharps came in. I mean, we're talking, these teams are this year combined 4-9-1 against the spread. And I know it's affecting a ton here. From a total perspective, it opened up at 43. We're now up to 46. So they are expecting these Buccaneers to be better here.
What injuries, though?
And we'll go over all those. Spenny saying Andrews hasn't practiced all week. I doubt he plays on a short week. Mitch Fearing says, huge play on Bucks money line. I don't care how bad Tampa run defense has been. If Ravens don't have any receivers, it's easy to jam the box and shut down the Ravens run game. Robert Franklin says, under 46. Tampa's offense gives me the, I don't know, is that heebie-jeebies? I don't know what the hell that is. Is that heebie-jeebies? Okay, let's take a look at where the cash lies here in this one. We have 63,501 tickets in. 26% of the tickets are on the Buccaneers and 51% of cash. That's the side I want to be on. Those are the numbers that I want to be backing. Then we have 63% of the tickets and 47% of the cash on the under. So there's clearly sharp money on the Bucks and sharp money on the over. So before we headed over to you, Gokster, Baltimore has been blowing these double-digit leads in the second half of all 3 of their losses. And Lamar Jackson's coming off a 9-for-16 game with 120 yards. Is he hurt? Who can he go to? Gus Edwards is expecting to have a better game here. He looked fine. 2 touchdowns, 66 yards. I don't think he looked bad, but I mean, first game he played since January 16th, 2021. Sharpie says, I think you can get a better number on the Bucks live betting it. And this Buccaneers come in off their low point in the Tom Brady era. And my breakdown is all over our video that's up right now. So let's hear a fresh take on it. Mr. Gokster, here we go. The Thursday nighter, Ravens Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. Let's get her, guys. Baltimore, 3 cornerbacks there. That doesn't help the cause here, eh? What do we have here? Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters, and Braden Steffens there. Also, Rashad Bateman, he's questionable. He's questionable. Gus Edwards, questionable, should be. And there's just a lot of offenses missing from both of these teams, Jim, and there's sharp money on the over. I don't want to be greedy here, but I'm leaning under. I'm actually going to take, guys, Baltimore team total under 22.5, -110. Defensively, I still trust Tampa Bay defensively, Jim. I don't see there being too many injuries. Defensive end there, Akeem Hicks, he's questionable. Having him out doesn't help. but they're the 5th best points allowed per game, Tampa Bay in the league. So they're a solid defensive team. You got Baltimore on a short rest on the road here. And you got no Mark Andrews. Gus Edwards banged up. They're already thin at receiver too. It's just, and Rashad Bateman's questionable. It's not a good spot, I think, for Baltimore guys. Tampa Bay's coming off those 2 road spots too, so they're finally back at home. There's no hurricane that's waiting for them either this time, so it's a much better spot for Tampa Bay, Jim. I had Tampa Bay money line minus 115 yesterday, so the money's definitely moved. What's the money line right now, Jim?
Let's pull up the money line. I'd be curious to see what it is too. It's at Bet365. It's minus 125. I know you can get better than that. Let's see what it is right now. If you were moving on the Buccaneers on the money line, that is 5 dimes hanging at minus 118, but Pinnacle's moved it to minus 127. I think we're going to see this move to minus 130 and even to minus 135 today.
Yeah, I'll take that minus 118. What was 5 dimes you said there, Jim?
Minus 118 at 5 dimes.
Yeah, I like that. I also like the Baltimore team total under 22.5, Jim. I don't think they explode. I don't think they have enough here. Now, Tampa Bay, Sean Murphy Bunting, without him, that doesn't help. But also, to Tampa Bay, they're missing some receivers, Jim. So I love Sharpie's look there with Godwin because they don't have – who do I have here? Evans banged up. That doesn't help. Julio Jones banged up. Russell Gage. Cameron Brate, they're missing all their big names other than Godwin. He's the guy that's going to be targeted a lot. One other thing I want to do, though, Jimmy, is I want to take a touchdown prop for you guys. Don't ask, don't tell. Appreciate it. We be pumping, brother. You know it. Always welcome here in Belleville. Always a spot for you. I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette, Jim. Anytime touchdown. Minus 105. I thought I had a plus number on it. Minus 105 is what I found. Unless anyone in the chat can get a better number. I think they can get down near that red zone and just give him the rock and let big Leonard Fournette run downhill. Minus 105. I do like that. 3 plays on the card, guys. I was going to take some Brady over passing attempts and over completions, but without those receivers and a banged up Brady too, possibly, I don't like this. I don't like the throw. And the reason I was going to take it too, Jim, he had 49 against Carolina, 40 against Pittsburgh, 52 against Atlanta. He was tossing that ball around, but they were down in all those games, and you got a short spot here. It could be a little rain too. I think Fournette gets the rock, so give me the touchdown prop as well.
So you have the Bucks minus 118, Fournette anytime touchdown minus 105.
Yep.
What is the third spot for you?
The Ravens team total under 22.5 is what I found. See if I can get a better number, Jim, but under 22.5 minus 110.
Let's just see what Pinnacle is offering you there for the Ravens team total under. I've made my decision, and I'm going to move on the Buccaneers here. I'm going to move on them. I think with everything, I think this is probably a really great spot for them now after sitting with this for so long and hearing different breakdowns. That team total under, it's down to 21.5 over at Pinnacle. So getting a 22.5 is probably a nice spot. Where did you get the 22.5?
22.5 minus 106, Bet Rivers.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
22.5 minus 106. All right, you got it under 22.5 at minus 106. I'm moving on the Buccaneers. Decision's being made. Big shouts out to Don't Ask, Don't Tell. What a guy. And Ethan Payson.
Yeah, buddy.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us here at Pub. It means a ton.
Enjoy the hockey tonight. Got a nice slate, 10 games, brother.
Sharpie saying field goal is always a good look with Tucker in the game. This is going to be tough to watch at the poker game now with the Buccaneers. I mean, okay.
And you got your Canucks. And you got your Canucks at 10 o'clock. Oh, it's going to be a great night, Jim.
Oh, fuck. I got the last Thursday night. I worked the Thursday night live stream last week. Connor Mack's doing it this week. But 2 weeks ago, I was on the over in the Bears Commanders game, and they just teed off on me. They teed off on me nonstop, teed off on us. just made so much fun of me. Sharpie, Alex Gagnon, thank you for being members. Don't Ask, Don't Tell as well. We have our membership up on our YouTube page, and we will have a video out this week talking about the perks that the memberships get. And thank you guys for supporting the channel. Gokster, we love you, man. Great work. Gokster is moving on 3 different spots here in football. He's on the Bucks -118, Fournette anytime touchdown -105, and the Ravens team total under 22.5 -106. And then Mr. Gokster, or then Sharpie is on the Godwin receiving yards over 72.5, and says double-digit targets in 3 of his last 4 games. So I love the look from Sharpie as well. Mr. Gokster, thank you, my friend. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
And get that cash. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Shout out to Ethan, too. He's going to be at the Preds game. Enjoy that game, buddy. Should be a rockin' barn. Wear your yellow. And Smashville should be loud and proud there, guys. Everyone in the chat, be good. We'll be back next week. Cash some tickets. Enjoy the games tonight. And be good. We'll see you next week.
There he is, Mr. Gokster. Let's get into NBA. Let's get into the hardwood here. And it was a wild day yesterday. If I hadn't have moved on those 2 unders in the Raptors game, I would have been very healthy in the black. Would have been a huge day. I did move on Gambler's First Glance at the end to end up giving me a profit. But the REITs were all right. And, the Timberwolves smashed. The Jazz didn't cover the first quarter, but they took care of business first half and full game. These teams, I love the opportunity of having teams play each other twice in 3 days in the same arena. I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to make a lot of cash. Cindy, good luck. Go get that cash today. Let's get to work here. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Mavericks 1-2, 0-2 on the road at the Brooklyn Nets 1-3, 1-1 at home. We're at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Dallas playing at a very slow pace. The difference between pace for some of these teams is extreme. It's bigger than I remember. We have teams playing at 95, 96 possessions a game, and then you got Warriors and Lakers, teams like that, playing up to 108 possessions a game. Sharpie says Golden State at home is 2-1 to third quarter, and Wiseman 3-1 to points, rebounds, assists. We'll be on both again. I think we're going to get into that spot with the Warriors, but man, they have some players playing very poorly. Wiseman is a -54. Poole's a -52. Kuminga's a -42. Kerr is not going to be pleased with those stats. Those 3 players are in the bottom 10 in plus minus, but we'll get over to that here in a little bit. We're starting with Mavericks Nets, though. Nets 99.75 possessions a game. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one and the odds history in NBA. And yesterday should have been a huge winning day. Everything sort of came. It's just that fucking under that I was pretty confident in. And then I even live bet the under at 220.5 just for $50 while we were playing poker. But God, sucks. Let's go with this here. We have Brooklyn opening up at +1. They're now +3. At 12:14, they got up to +3.5. So clear money coming in. Oh, well, we'll see, but we expect to see money coming in on the Mavericks with the Nets on the second half of a back-to-back. The total is dropping from 228.5 to 225.5. North Ender says these Nets collapse down the stretch. And Astute Chaos is on the first half under 116.5. And Raven in the Desert likes the number even here. You're right, damn right I am, Ronnie. We have NCAA football right after this. All 3 games will be capped right here. Yeah, so yeah. Absolutely, we are going to be hammering NCAA football this evening. We're having a spectacular year. We must do that. Sweaty Butcher says Heat money line was prime cut yesterday. It was a gorgeous look. I got the -1 first half, but we could have got more. North Ender says Steve Nash is a joke of a coach, man, after his first ejection in his young career. So Raven and Desmond on the under 225. Let's go over to the cash flow and see if it's all over the under and it's all over the under and all over the Nets. 10,642 tickets in. 23% of the tickets, 9% of the cash is on Brooklyn. Everybody backing the Mavericks here, expecting these Nets to self-destruct. And Durant and Irving at this time, could one of them sit here even? Total wise, 49% of tickets and 87% cash on the under. Sharpie says this Nets bench is terrible. Joe Harris is 0 from threes this year. You got to imagine that will change. But yeah, starting the year hurt has not helped them. Mavericks come in off a 113-111 loss at an undermanned New Orleans squad that was without Zion and Brandon Ingram. Luka's doing everything he can. 37 points, 11 boards, 7 assists. Luka has been spectacular this year. So at this point, through his first 3 games, they played 3 games this year. He has 104 points, 27 boards, and 23 assists. There's only one other player who's ever gone 125 and 20 in points, rebounds, and assists, and that's old Russell Westbrook in the good old days, 2016, 2017. Luka has scored at least 30 points in each of the first 3 games. He's the first player in Dallas Mavericks history to do that. Tim Hardaway Jr. is out, and Cashman saying that Harris is out due to injury management, but Hardaway is questionable with right foot soreness. If he was clearly missed against the Pelicans, whether they start him or bring him off the bench. When they bring him off the bench, that bench is so much stronger. So Dinwiddie will get heavy minutes, of course, if Hardaway is out. Brooklyn on the second half of a back-to-back after a 110-99 loss at Milwaukee last night. Durant and Irving are doing everything they can, but it's not enough. And this could be a real ugly season for them here. They were outscored 67-44 by the Milwaukee Bucks in the second half. Second straight game, the Nets have completely broke down in the second half. And Seth Curry's not coming back. He's not playing tonight versus Dallas. He's very close to making his regular season debut. And with Harris out, God, do they need him? Viper saying Mavs are bad when Luka's on the bench. I mean, they so badly need Tim Hardaway Jr., or they need to make a move to strengthen that bench. T-Mac says, I'm more interested on Dallas after a loss. Brooklyn is getting used to it. That's a real interesting take. I think the sharp money's right. I really do. All of this big bets here on Dallas now 3-point favorites. Cashman says Dinwiddie revenge game. That's another angle here. I think the Brooklyn Nets are a must fade. Wood coming off the bench with 20 plus points for the Mavs. That has become strange there too. He wants to start and he's not happy coming off the bench. So that's an interesting look. Dan Kelly says, can Kyrie and KD play D? Ron Crawford says, hold your nose, Brooklyn's spot here. Alex Gagnon says, Luka is the best player in the league and he's surrounded by scrubs every year. Of course they're bad when he is on the bench. Wow. Stu Care says Nets are 26th in first half offensive rating. Isaiah saying Brooklyn getting used to back-to-back losses. It's interesting. And JR on Brooklyn money line. So there are people. What do you make of how bad Dallas looked against the Pelicans? It's tricky. It's very tricky. And Polo this, Polo that says he's taking a shot with the Nets again. Sharpie says, when do the Mavs play D? Is this not an over spot? It's very tricky to go up against this heavy move towards the under. Very tricky. Alex Gagnon says they do give him 3 full quarters each game for a season. I'm going to move. I see some of you guys backing Brooklyn and seeing Ron Crawford on it as well. JR on it. Brian Watson said Dallas -4 now. Is someone sitting then? I can still bet it right now at -3. Would it surprise you if one of their stars sits? Piker says Nets have no defense. Mavs holding opponents to 106 or less. Mavs money line is easy here. North Ender says if I bet this, it would be the under. And Isaiah B saying I would wait if you want the Nets. That's a really good point. Stu Cass says the Pelicans to me are a good team and they have a bench that's explosive. And a huge bet for Kyle Hintley on the Mavs. A huge bet. How do you not expect this breakdown that's happening in Brooklyn? How do you not expect it to continue? And on the second half of a back-to-back while Dallas was just sitting there. Polo that says if it is 4.5, someone's sitting. So I still have it at 3. Let's see, is it changing? So obviously, if it's 4.5 and someone's sitting, I may be pensive to make a move. I won't, actually. I won't. North End is saying everyone's going to be on Dallas. That is a tiny bit of a concern, but Dallas hasn't looked very good this year. Sitting 1 and 2. Brian Watson had Miami big last night. I'm very interested in the Dallas Mavericks here. Very interested. I don't want to sit here and hum and haw. I do want to see if the market's going to quickly move, but Brooklyn and Golden State on the spreadsheet. Ned Searfoss says it's still 2.5 at DraftKings. I find it hard to believe that. I mean, look at what Brooklyn has done in the last couple of games. I mean, Durant and Irving are going off and they can't win, and now they're going to be tired. And you have a Mavericks team that's 1 and 2. Alex saying Luka 2 for 13 from 3 against the Pels, just a bad shooting night. Jake Burns saying, yeah, Luka will get his 30. And first half Dallas money line for Dan Kelly. Copy and paste that from Dan. All right. I don't see how I don't expect more fallout for what's happening over in Brooklyn. And I don't know how long Steve Nash will be their head coach. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, LA Clippers 2-2, 2-1 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder, 1-3, 1-1 at home. We're at Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. Clippers pace so far this year, 101.13 possessions a game, while the Thunder pace 103.25 possessions a game. Fuck the bookie says, how about the Mavs first quarter? I want full game. Now, obviously, Dan's database is saying that the angle would be for Dallas first half, but I feel like I'd want the tired legs and the burning legs on Brooklyn. We know that the back-to-backs are tougher in the first 10 games of the year than they are later in the season. So it's, if with you on the Mavs first quarter, you have with Dan's database on first half, then I don't dislike the look by any means. All right. Sharpie says PG3 in the lineup makes his team click. Can't bet him when he sits. Look at unders when he's in. He does control the pace. Oklahoma City Thunder playing at 103.25 possessions a game. Let's move into the line history here in this one. Clippers, Thunder, move over here. The Thunder opening up at +7. They're now at +6.5. The move to 6.5 came at 10:39 a.m. I know that we've got a ton of injury issues here that we're going to talk about for the Clippers, but I know that the teams that have been losing these 2 games in 3 nights in the same stadium have been coming back and winning. But I legitimately thought the Thunder are going to beat them again. And I wanted to talk it out with you guys before I moved on it. Thunder 3-0-1 against the spread so far this year. They opened up this total at 215.5, and it's now at 217.5. Home revenge Clippers smash, says Ron Crawford. They met in a 108-94 victory here in Oklahoma City. And Shea loves playing against the Clippers. That's true, and he's going to be ready to go here tonight. He returned for Tuesday's game after missing the previous game with the hip contusion. Let's go and see where the cash lies in this one. And it's all on the Clippers. 67% of the tickets and 87% of the cash. I do not want to go up against that. 74% of the cash, 74% of the tickets, 88% of cash on the over, and we've seen it gone up 2 points. There's Roger that in the house. AJ saying Shea's a beast. Sharpie says last game Shea got ruled in last second. 6.5 is right. It was 9.5 last game. T-Max says Clippers first quarter, they should come out pissed. -7, just too much for me on the road. So Kawhi is flown back to LA. Paul George and Marcus Morris. Paul George was out with a non-COVID illness, and Marcus Morris, personal reasons. Morris is going to be gone as well. He's expected to miss another game. So Leonard Morris aren't coming back, but Paul George will be back in the lineup. The Thunder won despite going 4 of 30 from 3. That's the 5th lowest 3-point percentage by a winning team that's had at least 25 attempts from 3 in NBA history. There's good in the house. Rodney Barton says went with Shea over points, rebounds, and assists. I think Shea gets his points and will get boards as well. Clippers give up the most rebounds to point guards. There's Mike Morris in the house. Sharpie says, so Spurs smash T-Wolves and back-to-back. Line stays at 9. Clippers lose to OKC and line drops 3. Line says OKC. The line, that my first thought was the same, but I can't go up against the bigger bets coming in on the Clippers. But I my first feeling was back them. Giddey is going to be out again. He suffered an ankle injury in the loss to Minnesota. What we saw the Clippers do last year until they, broke down at the very end of the season, but they handled adversity so well and they handled injuries so well. And Reggie Jackson is shooting at 30.6%. You can't expect that to continue. You have to expect him to hold some sort of a grudge towards the Thunder. Dan Kelly says, did you see how disheartened Portland became when Dame went out last night? Same could happen in LA, says for the Clippers. Says these guys, they get these guys back and get excited, and then the overwhelming depression when they lose them again. Sharpie says Reggie Jackson started the first quarter, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and he ended with that. Yeah, he went 4 of 17 from the floor. Astute Chaos on the first half under 107 at minus 108. Copy and paste that here. The Clippers, they're just an angry group. And they spoke a lot about how they were going to bounce back in this game. And we've seen what happens when Paul George is the alpha. I was expecting to come in here and be on Oklahoma City, and I'm not going to. All right. I will... have to stay off of this spot. Again, we have a move towards the over. I get that move towards the over. That could be something that I would, it's only moved 2 points, which is not too much for me to jump on. Oh, it's moved 2.5 now. It's at 218. But look at how poorly these teams shot. You had the Thunder going 4 of 30 from 3. You had Reggie Jackson going 4 of 17 from the field. You have to think and look at that Tony to the Chiefs. Wow, Astute Chaos. All right. Sharpie says the more and more we talk, I like Clippers first quarter, get in and get out. And Clippers being money to the under this year. I think that Oklahoma City will try to run them into the ground. The Oklahoma City will shoot better. And that the over is most definitely in play. The question is, would you want to focus on just the first half over? And I don't see why you would need to do that. Over 218, I've talked myself into this over in Clippers, Oklahoma City, with an expectation that they shoot much better and that they are arrested groups staying in the same city, playing in the same stadium. All right, there you have it. I'm moving on the full game over. Astute Chaos on the first half under. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Miami Heat at Golden State Warriors. Heat 2-3, 1-0 on the road. Warriors are 2-2, 2-1 at home. We're at the Chase Center, San Francisco, California. And hard to imagine why Kadarius Toney would have been moved here. But I got to study that. Wow. Miami paced 97.70 possessions a game on the second half of a back-to-back after defeating Portland 119-98 last night. Warriors 108.63 possessions a game. They're flying up and down the floor. We'll start with the line history here in this one. We have the Warriors opening up at minus 7.5. They're down to minus 6.5. It did go down to minus 6 there at 9:44 this morning, and it lasted at 6 for 6 minutes. So obviously it just got attacked immediately once that number went to 6. Very interesting. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 224.5 and it's now at 227. Viper says this line is inflated in his opinion. Says Warriors should be a -4 favorite. I am off since the Heat are on a back-to-back. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. 6,330 tickets in, 65% of tickets, 68% of cash on the Warriors. Then you have 81% of tickets and 84% of cash on the over. T-Mac says the Clippers have come out. Says Clippers come out first quarter strong, or they will show weakness. The more I'm sitting with it, I think you guys are all right with the Clippers coming out angry and fast with Paul George back. That first quarter at -2. Isaiah B saying, big OKC fan, we cover a lot of first quarter spreads as well. Says Giddey is in, we'd like to push the pace. When he's out, we tend to slow it down and keep the ball in Shea's hands. But with PG back, should be an over spot. 6 game in 9 days for Miami with travel. God, gotta think this is a Warrior spot. Piker saying Miami 2-7 against the spread, last 9 off back to back. Wow. I'm going to join you guys on the Clippers first quarter. All right, let's get back to this Heat Warriors spot. Heat were fortunate when Dame went down yesterday, where they didn't have to overuse their top 9. Warriors coming off an ugly 134-105 loss at Phoenix on Tuesday night that saw Clay get ejected. The first time he was ejected in his career. We talked about the issues for Wiseman, Kuminga, and Poole, and it's going to be talked about. Markel saying this is a Warriors spot, and I agree. Sky Dragon says, I haven't seen Golden State Warriors play defense all year. I can't lay that price with them. And Sharpie said last time Paul George played without Kawhi, he played 20 minutes in the first half. Markel also liking the over here. This has got to be a tired spot for the Heat. What can I get and just the fact that it went down to 6 for 6 minutes before it moved back to 6.5 tells me that the Warriors are going to take care of business here. It really does. And we talked about that flight not being much yesterday from Portland to San Francisco, but I can understand. One of the things that the Warriors will do is try to dictate the pace. We have a parlay from Raven in the Desert under in the next Nets game, Grizzlies money line and Warriors money line for Raven in the Desert. T-Mac says Miami does worry me after a win and now motivated, but Golden State at home after a loss should get it done back-to-back for Miami. Bo Jackson said Clay posted him listening to MJ's Off the Wall last night. He'll have a bounce-back game. Sky Dragon says nobody played in the fourth. Miami's fitness is elite. They'll be fine. Ed Searfoss says Warriors should run them out of the gym. 10 players deep, -6.5. Sharpie's on Wiseman, points, rebounds, and assists at 14.5. He's had 15 plus every game. Bam in the lineup. More minutes to Wiseman. There's definite truth there. Well, it's Warriors or no bet, and Warriors bouncing back after that ugly loss as well. I've got to decide when I want the Warriors, and I don't know how you could really pick first half when we know what the Warriors do in third quarters. I think the Warriors take care of business here. And what we saw from the Heat's 1-3 homestand, there is legitimacy too. All right, Warriors -6.5 for me. Dan Kelly says chart likes Miami. Mitch Fearing says Miami's 3-point defense was so trash early in the season. Interesting, Dan. I kind of had the feeling when you were talking about the Heat 6 game in 9 days meant that the Warriors were the look. We talked about the big move yesterday towards the Heat from a psychological perspective that they needed to get out of Miami. They were taking a lot of heat in the press, and let's just get out of Miami, get on the road. The first road trip of the year can really galvanize the troops, and it looks like that's what's happened. Piker says if Warriors aren't getting it done first half, second half would be a very strong play, laying the points with Neideward piling on at the half. Dan says that's why he keeps the charts. Sharpie says third quarter Warriors are 2-1 at home. The loss on the travel with 6 seconds left. Bo Jackson says, Coach Kerr, 33-6 at home against Southeast Division, says, stop the tomfoolery. Maybe this is a perfect live betting spot tonight. And if the chart likes the Heat, maybe I should pump the brakes on the Warriors. All right, I won't have asterisks beside the Warriors. I'll put question marks. And maybe look at a live bet at some point tonight. This game pops off at 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, interesting. I thought I was going to pull the trigger here. I am not. And we have Sharpie on the Wiseman prop. T-Max says, I wanted the Warriors team total, but wasn't sure. Gotta love the opportunity for the Warriors to bounce back. Don't you? Don't we? All right. God. Or at least the Warriors' first quarter. They've not been good this year, and they need to step up here. But maybe Miami feels good about themselves. God, all right. It looks like that's going to take more time here. Let's move to 10 p.m. Eastern. Memphis Grizzlies 3-1, 1-1 on the road at the Sacramento Kings, 0-3, 0-2 at home. We're at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. North Ender grabbed a piece of the Kings plus 3.5 last night. Bo Jackson said, I faded the Warriors last game. Now it's time to ride them. And Sharpie said last night was a must-win for Miami. Yeah, there was money, extra money to be made on the Jazz that I left on the table. Betting more than the half on the Timberwolves and betting more than the half on the Heat. But thankful for that cash anyways. Viper says I'm on Grizzlies first half and full game. My only NBA plays today. Kings will get smacked. Let's talk about this spot. Golden One Center, Memphis, 99.41 possessions game with Sacramento, 103.33. Move over to the line history in this spot here for Grizzlies Kings. We have the Kings opening up at plus 3.5 at minus 105. They're right there, plus 3.5. It's at minus 104 right now, so no movement. There had been a quick move to 3, though. I always find it so interesting when Pinnacle moves it to 3 to see what happens. They moved it to 3 at 8:38 a.m. and it stayed there for a while. The Grizzlies, and the first move was still on the Kings. It stayed at 3 for an hour and a half before it went back to 3.5. Then it went back to 3 again, stayed at 3 for 14 minutes that time. So we've seen a couple jumps to 3. And from a total perspective, it opened up at 236.5. It's now at 236. A Viper says Kings bottom 5 in defense, Grizzlies middle of the pack. They should win by 10. And North Ender says it is 3 right now at Bet365. Alex says De'Aaron Fox chats about the addition of Keegan Murray into the Kings starting 5. Sacramento's 0-3 start, possible overreactions, defensive help, and the team's Halloween costume party. Jesus. Says sounds like a tank fest. God. Ron Crawford says this line is fishy. Sharpie says Memphis needs to show me they take bums serious. He's staying off. And Dan Kelly is on the second quarter Heat at +1. Wow. Which means that if Dan Kelly's charts are on point for this one, then we're going to have a live betting opportunity on the Warriors. Isaiah says, feels like a trap spot. Why is Memphis such a short fave? Well, let's see if the cash can illuminate anything here. Sports Insights has given the Sacramento Kings full line value. 11,436 tickets are in. Only 27% of the tickets are on the Kings and 64% of the cash. Clearly, the Sharps expecting the Kings to be better. And I know that this King squad's 0-3, but they're 2-1 against the spread. They've been good to their backers. T-Max says Morant is the king. This line is fishy. Bo Jackson says, I like the Kings in this spot. And from a total perspective here, you have 51% of tickets on the over, 67% of cash, but the market's not moving. Memphis comes in off a 134-124 win at home over Brooklyn on Monday night. And Desmond Bane, 8 of 11 from 3, career high 38 points. And he came in shooting 26.5% in his first 3 games. So he's rolling right now. Look at this guy's progression and evolution as a basketball player. 9.2 points per game as a rookie, 18.2 last season, averaging 20.5 this year. and not shooting well for the first 3 games. So you can expect that number to go up. Ja leads the league, 35.3 points per game. He's coming off putting up 38 against the Nets. Sacramento comes in off their 3rd straight loss to open the season, and they played tough, 130-125 at Golden State, covered. De'Aaron Fox, 26 points, 10 assists. He's playing very well. He's shooting 59.4% from the field. 31.7 points per game, 7 assists. It's going to be fun watching Fox and Ja go head-to-head. Sacramento's 3 losses are by a combined total of 14 points. Earl Sports Bet says Kings money line is the lean. Markel says both teams ain't playing D. North Ender says full line value went 2-0 yesterday, and he was on both. Piker says Kings are losing by an average of 4.5 points at home. Spreadsheet guys like the number a lot. Too sharp to look anywhere but Sacramento. I agree with that take. Sacramento would be the only look. Another thing here that is important. Now, when we talk about, Alex was talking about, De'Aaron Fox talking about the Halloween party, a very key point in this game is that Memphis destroyed Sacramento last year. Just kicked the shit out of them. Beat them by an average of 23.7 points. They've beaten the Kings 6 straight times. Joey Collier loving the over. Piker liking the over. This is going to be an interesting to see if Sacramento has heart here, because they should. Maybe this is a Sacramento team total over spot. What is that at? Go over to team props. 116.5 for the Kings. God, it's Kings or nothing. And that Kings team total might be the perfect way of looking at it. Sitting at 236. This Kings team, they got to bounce back after just being stomped on by the Grizz last year. James S. is on the Kings money line. DC Cappers on the over 236.5. And North Ender says, is it 3 anywhere, or are there 3.5s out there? Let's find out here if there are 3.5s out there. And there are. There's a 3.5 at Pinnacle, but there's a 2.5 at some real dodgy books that we don't speak of. Wow. So you have to think that the market will follow what Pinnacle is doing. Let's get Pinnacle up here once more. Sorry, pull this up. Get the actual book up. Where the hell is it? Sorry. I thought I had it up here. Yes, we do. Okay, let's just see exactly what Pinnacle is doing, because the market should follow what Pinnacle is doing. Pinnacle's hanging the 3.5, which means that if we like the Kings, we'll probably get a better line at some point, because very interesting. The best money line full game on the Miami Heat. It is not a hassle. Now, there's 2 different books. We can look at the offshores and we can look at the legal American ones. But the offshore money line for the Heat is there is a plus 215 at Bovada, a plus 215 at Bovada. There are 210s out there at a bunch of books. Wow, look at that. Looking at the Heat money line. Stu Cass says, don't overthink Memphis, Sacramento first half over 116. Yeah, you might have just nailed that too. Let's go back to, I guess it's such a high line. That's why it's not moving right now. MGM has a 3.5 as well. And Astute Chaos looking at that first half over. All right. I've got to sit with all of this information longer. The best work I do, and then I realize why it's tough for people to come on a show and just give out spots is to sit after the show with all of the information. I've copied and pasted so many of your looks, and then have more time to sit with this market analysis. Rod Zwacky says, take the over Grizzlies Kings game. I'm going to say no defense in this one. I feel like the Kings team total is what I want the most. And if Desmond Bane is going to get over that, because he was 13 of 49, hitting 26.5% through the first 3 games. So seeing that bounce back spot at home over Brooklyn, and then Memphis will probably come in a little loosey goose. Probably Kings first quarter would also be a look. They know what Memphis did to them, and Memphis probably feels good about themselves. What would be the Kings first quarter anyways? Let me just move over there. Kings first quarter, get plus 110. Nice plus price there. Kings first quarter plus 110. God, I'm going to have a lot of action tonight. It's tough being at a poker game. It's a $200 buy-in and there's big swings, and then to have all this action going on, it's just fucking knots in my back, Locker room, Millsy saying today my Kings get their first win. All right. T-Max says Memphis letdown spot, Morant smash spot though. And Rod Zawacki back in this Grizzlies King spot. North Ender, thank you, my man. We are moving into NCAA football now, but I don't want to have too much on this game. I think I would be comfortable with just Kings team total over and the Kings first quarter. I think that would be very comforting for me. Not have too much action on it. And it does correlate with that first half over, but the charts like Memphis third quarter. Makes sense to me. Yes, Razor, you did hurt me last night, but you couldn't go to a better guy. All right, let's just quickly review NBA action, and there's still a lot of things to be figured out. I would like to be on the Mavericks here. Interesting that Dan is only on them first half on the Dallas money line, but I'd like to back the Mavs to continue the NBA putting their foot on the throat of the Brooklyn Nets. The Clippers spot the over 218 in the Clippers first quarter. Then I've gotten a little bit of cold feet on the Warriors minus 6.5. And then Kings team total over in the first quarter plus 110. All right, there you go. We move on to NCAA football next up. And Officer 50 wondering if anyone's put together a stat for the first basket yet. I don't know if anyone has, but I would be interested to see that as well. James S. says, look at the teams they lost to and how they lost, and says Grizzlies are none of those teams. That's interesting. And bet with that with Jay saying Brooklyn early should be a look possibly. All right, we move into college football, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, the Virginia Tech Hokies. And again, I'm having this stellar season, but the quantity of action has just fallen off completely. I've been very hesitant to make moves. I'm still sitting 22-10 on the season in college football. Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, 60 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour. And T-Max says tough line to work with. He'd be on Sacramento first quarter if he could get 2.5. Should I not? I kind of like the money line there. I kind of want to have a no vig situation on that spot. Let's talk VTech 2-5, 1-3 in the ACC versus the Wolfpack 5-2, 1-2 in the ACC. Both teams coming in off of their bye week. Let's start with the line history in college football, and trusting these spots have been very good to us. Trusting where the cash lies and if it correlates with our capping. Let's move here. Virginia Tech not looking good and sitting with that 4-game losing streak. Both teams have really struggled against the spread. Both teams 2-5 against the spread. Wolfpack opened up at minus 14. They're now minus 13.5. We have seen some 13s on the board. From a total perspective, it opened up at 41 and has dropped to 38.5. Wow, 38.5. Newquarter says Tech can't score. It's NC State or nothing. And Brad Marchand is making his debut tonight for the Boston Bruins. Wow. Brad Marchand is making a season debut. He came back so fast. Wow. So that spot Gokster with the Red Wings. Ooh, that place is going to be fired up with Marchand out there. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us, Bo. Earl Sports says Chambers bounced back, getting all the first-team reps on the bye week, over 39.5, and it's gone down to 38.5 now as well. Markel looking at the team total under with V-Tech. And let's take a look at the cash flow. So we've seen it move to 13.5 and down to 38.5. Let's see what correlates. T-Mac, thank you so much for the dono. Much love to you, my man. Thank you for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio. It means a ton. It means a ton to us. All right, let's take a look at what we are dealing with here. We have 10,327 tickets in. 55% of the tickets and 81% of the cash is on Virginia Tech. 38% of the tickets and 63% of the cash is on the over, but that total keeps dropping. Let me move over to our notes here and let's roll. So both teams coming in off their bye week. Virginia Tech was last seen in their fourth straight loss. It was a 2014 loss at home to Miami. They were 9-point dogs. This is tied for their longest losing streak in 30 years. They can't score, as you guys have pointed out, 19.1 points per game. That's 115th in the country. They're putting up 321.9 yards per game. That's 116th in the country. The Marshall transfer, Grant Wells, the junior, has not looked good. His completion percentage of 59.5% is a career low. 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He's tough to trust, and he's been worse than I expected him to be. NC State comes in off their second loss in 3 games, 24-9 at Syracuse as 3-point dogs. Devin Leary, as we know, is gone for the year. So we have Jack Chambers, the transfer from Charleston Southern. And Earl Sports says Chambers will bounce back, getting all the first-team reps. He was 18 of 30 for 160 yards against Syracuse. Not good. Not good at all. Now, Syracuse is a tough football team. And it's a tough dome to play in. And I agree that Chambers will be better here. But with such a low total, I don't see why the Hokies would not be able to cover this game. And I agree that Chambers will be better, but how good is he going to be? Raven says sneaky over. So what do we know? So the Wolfpack win this game, become bowl eligible. It's a big deal. And we know that their defense is very good. And I think that the Sharps are right on here back in Virginia Tech. I really do. I know they're a terrible offense, but when you get 14 points in a total that's this low, that's now down to 38.5, what do you need to cover 14? You don't need much, man. This total's at 39 right now at Bet365. This team total for Virginia Tech is sitting at 12.5. I mean, one mistake by Chambers. I mean, if it comes down to it, we would have thought start the year that there would be a huge quarterback advantage if Grant Wells was going up against Jack Chambers. Decision made. I'm on Virginia Tech here tonight, and I'm going to go with the sharp cash. And off the bye, Grant Wells better step up. I don't know why he's been so god-awful. And look, I know the Wolfpack defense is not exactly who you want to get better against. And then I get it that Chambers will be better after a very tough spot in Syracuse. But do we really trust Chambers? So yes, he'll be better, but I mean, it's VTech's defense that's kept him in these games. And all right, I think the Hokies can cover. All right, we move on. I'm going to be on Virginia Tech here, plus the points. Move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 4-3, 2-2 in the Fun Belt, going up against Southern Miss Golden Eagles 4-3, 2-1 in the Fun Belt. We're at Roberts Stadium in Hattiesburg. Let's talk about the weather. 67 Fahrenheit, clear, 3 miles per hour. Let's move over to the line history in this one. And I think it's telling. I think it's telling that the market is moving towards Southern Miss when we break down certain edges in this game and you think that how could Louisiana not be the spot? I really do. I think it's telling. And there is Nuke Worker. He's on Southern Miss. Let's take a look at the Southern Miss opening up at +2. They moved to +1.5, and now they're at +1. From a total perspective, it opened up at 43.5, and we've dropped to 42. Let's take a look at the cash flow. We have 12,180 tickets in. And again, 51% of the tickets and 82% of the cash is on Southern Miss. The big bet's coming in on the Golden Eagles. From a total perspective, 68% of tickets and 82% of cash on the under, and it keeps dropping. Ross Pitt says over. This is an over. Market not saying that's going to happen, but let's talk it out a little more. Louisiana comes in off their second straight win, 38-18 at home over Arkansas State as 6.5-point favorites. I know a lot of cappers will use the Red Wolves as, the similar opposition. And Southern Miss barely beat Arkansas State 2019 at home. Barely beat them. I don't want to outsmart myself here because there's a whole bunch of angles. Look what Louisiana did to the Red Wolves. They outgained them 522 to 271. And Ben Woolridge, in his last two games, has thrown for 546 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. So why then would there be money coming in on Southern Miss? Let's try and answer that question. Earl Sports is on the Ragin Cajuns, says he predicted his line to be -5, says line value for him. I get it, but we have to answer why. Why would it not come out with around the spread that you had placed on it? Razor is Louisiana -1, says there's no way they lose this game. They are the way better team. -1s means they just have to win. This is going to be easy for Louisiana. Of course. $200 for Southern Miss for Razor Sharp picks. We have to answer why. So let's try doing that. We know Louisiana defense is elite, 26th in the nation in opponent yards per play. Southern Miss is coming off their second straight win, a 2014 win at Texas State. They were just 2.5-point favorites. And those of you who watched the game, it was the Chandler Pittman touchdown, and it was gorgeous. 53-yard touchdown from Zach Wilkie with 32 seconds left for the win. This is a team that has momentum. Fuck the bookie saying under, don't overthink this. They have momentum. So can we put a line through the Arkansas State game? Or do we not trust Southern Miss that was losing that game before that huge 53-yard touchdown with 30 seconds left? Oh, Parlangela, damn, I hate when OT hurts like that, but nice work. The Golden Eagles offense is bad. There's only one team in the Sun Belt worse in yards per game, but their defense is strong. And I think, and I can't answer. The only thing I can answer is that this team Wilkie is starting to be better. Wilkie has 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and he's throwing for over 200 yards once. So why then would the market be moving over to Southern Miss? And it has to be the fact that Southern Miss is at home. Southern Miss wins this game. They're 3-1 in the Sun Belt, and they are going to have a real exciting last couple months. It's huge for Southern Miss. Razor Sharp Pick says Southern Miss likes to beat this team. So it's Southern Miss or no bet. And the Sharps are saying that Southern Miss is going to take care of business at home. And what's been working for me in college football is if I can figure out why something's happening, to stick with what the Sharps are doing. You have to think this is going to be a fucking backyard brawl. Rod Zawacki, what do you think here? What is your move on this game? I'm certainly leaning towards Southern Miss. And I wonder if I add the under. I'd love to hear from Ross Pitts why you think this isn't over and you're so confident in the over. We're doing fine for time. We have just under an hour before the Cappers contest show that we hope you guys will all be a part of. I'd love to hear why Ross thinks this isn't over. This is Southern Miss or no bet for me. And I guess the opportunity to take the home team with no vig is appealing. And to put a line. Now, we know Texas State's a good football team. They went into Texas State and beat them after that horrific Arkansas State game where they just barely beat one of the worst teams, in FBS. All right, so it's Southern Miss or no bet, and I don't see why this wouldn't be a real low-scoring football game, a real backyard brawl type of football game. And this total dropping, it dropped again at 10:39. It's only dropped. There's not been, I guess when it first dropped, when it very first came out, there was a 4-cent move to the over, and then it just started dropping from then. All right. Ross says, I just think that the Ragin' Cajuns will come off quick. Southern Miss will have to at least try to keep up with them. The fact that Louisiana feels so good, one of the angles that does also work for me in every sport is, now, how bad is Arkansas State? I like the fact that Southern Miss went into Texas State, beat them. Texas State's a much better team this year. Rod Zwacky says, I like the over. He likes both teams to score into the 20s. Yes, MDR, it's pretty nice weather. It starts getting cold quickly. I remember they're an hour, so it starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, but it's 6:30 in Hattiesburg. It's 67 Fahrenheit clear, 3 miles per hour, but within an hour it gets down to 60 and then it starts dropping. But that's still nice temperatures and low wind. So interesting that Rod likes the over as well. Well, then I'm going to back Southern Miss here at home. And maybe this is too cute. Maybe backing both sides that the Sharps are on, Virginia Tech and Southern Miss is getting too cute. But I'm going to be doing that. Let's move on to the final game here. 10 p.m. Eastern, the 14th ranked Utah Utes, 5-2, 3-1 in the pack, against Washington State Cougars, 4-3, 1-3 in the pack. We're at Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, and it's cold. It's cold, 44 Fahrenheit and clear, 7 miles per hour. Both teams coming off their bye week as well. So this is similar to that first Virginia Tech spot. Let's take a look at the line history here, and I'm sure everybody has the Utah game against USC fresh in their memory. Washington State opening up at +8.5, now at +7. It's you have to ask yourself, what's your career college football record been? And if you didn't have any idea of market analysis from the spread and from the cash flow, you would surely be sitting here on NC State, Louisiana, and Utah. And when I looked at not succeeding in my past in college football, what were the biggest problems? Well, it was quantity of action. I was betting way too much when I was down in Costa Rica. And part of the reason why was there was often times where I didn't have my family down there and I just wanted action. It was the only thing I didn't, if you don't like sports and you're not into hip hop, you don't like sports, I don't need to try with you. I don't give a fuck. I'm now 43 and I'm not looking for friendship. So what were the mistakes I was making? I wasn't studying the market and I had too much action. We're sitting here on October 27th and I have 32. Dan Kelly says lack of relevant data. Yeah. What I was doing was I was having cappers come on to my show when I was in Costa Rica, and I was basing everything off of their breakdowns. Also, I was so busy with the 2 shows a day, and I was so tired when I got home, and I started doing the waking up at 3:45, 4 in the morning, go to sleep. So the cappers on my show were coming on. They were beating market moves. I was studying their analysis and breakdowns on Friday, and then I was moving on my action late based on other. Now I look back and I think, what was I doing? Now I'm sitting here. It's October 27th. I've made 32 bets in college football, but I've cashed 22 of them. It's working. And look, there'd be no doubt that I'd be on the Utes here. But we've seen a 2-point market move. You're still getting the 7 on Washington State, or a 1.5 at Pinnacle. From a total perspective, it's gone from 56 to 57. We go over to the cash flow. It's once again, the Sharps are all over the team you wouldn't expect them to be backing, and that's the Cougars. 54% of tickets and 84% of the cash. Millsy letting us know that he spoke at Bellator Media. Bet Fabian Edwards inside the distance. I love it. So 17,022 tickets in. The Sharps are all over Washington State off of the bye. 48% of tickets and 73% cash on the under, and it's gone up a point. That is confusing. We already mentioned both teams coming in off a bye. Utah comes in off this 43-42 win at home over USC at 3.5-point favorites, and now they get out and head out onto the road. Cameron Rising is being, showered with praise. This Utah team feels very good about themselves, and they're going into a Washington State Martin Stadium where they're facing a very angry group here. Cameron Rising, 48 seconds left when he got the go-ahead touchdown and a 2-point convert. Threw for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns against USC, 30 of 44. It's the first 400-yard game for a Utah quarterback since 2005. You're going back to Brian Johnson in 2005. Dalton Kincaid, 234 yards and a touchdown on 16 catches. Only one receiver in the history of Utah football has had more receiving yards in a single game than Kincaid. And that you're going back to 1988 for that, Carl Harry. This team feels so good about themselves. They put up 562 yards, 31 first downs. They average 7.3 yards per play. They scored touchdowns on 5 of their final 6 drives in that game. They feel great. Washington State is an angry group. They come off their second straight loss, 24-10 at Oregon State. 3-point dogs. You have Cameron Ward, the transfer from Incarnate Word, second in the Pac-12 in completions and pass efficiency. So what's the problem with Washington State? Why, if Cameron Ward is so good, throwing for at least 300 yards in 3 of his last 4 games, and 3 of those were losses, why? And it's because they can't run the ball. 89 rushing yards per game. That's by far the worst in the Pac-12. They can't run the ball. Here it says refs bailed out the Utes in the USC win. Says a brutal officiating. That's from Joe Mannix. G. Martinez says Utah's defense a big thumbs down. So I hear you, Pike. I had way too much action when I was down there. So with all this being said, it feels like a spot where the Cougars are going to step up in Pullman, Washington. If you believe in what you saw when the Utes beat USC, then Utah was capable of making adjustments during the game with their offense and with Cameron Rising. So if I'm worried about what Utah is capable of doing as the game goes on, and I know that the Sharps are all over the Cougars, a very angry group, while the Utes feel so good about themselves after a big home victory. Washington State knows that the season's on the line. I mean, bowl eligibility is on the line. If they lose this, they're 500 and 1-4 in conference. If it's the adjustments like we've talked about with the New York Giants all week, that would hurt me in this game. And it's Washington State at home off of a bye week, although they're both off bye weeks. Well, then I have to bet the Washington State Cougars first half at +4. And that is what I'm going to do. Washington State first half +4 at -105. Rand says Cougs or the over. Wow, this is going to be a fucking great night of college football. I have a play on every game and just one. Ooh, that's the way I like it. All right. Jake, he was joking. Razor was joking about the way that you would analyze the football game if you weren't looking at the market at all and you were solely basing it on statistics, especially with the common opponent in Arkansas State. So he was just joking there. All right. Dan Kelly just got on the first half moneyline parlay. Kings, Nets, Thunder, all home teams, just under 12-1. And Sky Dragon says, isn't this the third straight week Sharps are fading Louisiana? Hasn't worked the first two. Important point. And there is Dutch Boy Fresh, 14-7 plus 6.10 units in NBA so far. And he will be our guest for NBA on Friday, October 28th. And we want him every Friday. We're in talks. We're in talks to see if we can have Dutchy rolling with us on Fridays because we want him badly. We want him badly. And he will be on NBA Pub Hub Thursday. Don't forget, on Friday, he's not on NBA Pub Hub. So the only place that you can get his analysis, unless he goes live on his own channel, right here on Betting with the Bag. And Dan Kelly says, my hero, Dutchy. Look at that. We all saw what Dutch did last year. So right here, NBA tomorrow is where you can catch Dutch Boy Fresh. And Ross Pitt says Utah still needs to win this. They only have one loss right now. Think about that. Look, Ross, I'm just telling you and doing what's worked for me this year. And it's never going to be a problem to be on the other side of me or to be on the other side of anybody in this chat. Sky Dragon says lay it here, Utah. So you got Sky Dragon on your side. I'm going to be on Washington State first half +4. Clearly, the adjustments that Utah made, even if they got the refs' help, is impressive enough for me to be concerned. But I have to trust this Cougar squad at home with their season on the line, at least early. Picks from Dave, respect. Thank you. All right, let's review all action. We are 38 minutes from our big Cappers contest show. We went 4-1. 4-1. And that gives me enough time to get my action in and to stay calm. I need you guys to know that it is imperative for me to stay calm after the show when I'm putting in my action. Because it's I can feel like nervous now. This is going to be more action than I've had in some time. All right. By the way, LJ from H-Town, Predators money line, Dallas Mavericks first quarter -1, and Gus Edwards over 46.5 rush yards. Let's review all action. Goksters on the Red Wings +195, then team total over 2.5 -112. I have Red Wings with 3 question marks. I'm taking away those question marks. I'm not betting them. The Bruins are 5-0 at home and getting Marchand back. That place is going to be an absolute ruckus. Butcher's prime cut, Ottawa, Minnesota, over 6.5. Yes, we have Bobano on our show for all sports other than NBA. And I hope we need to place NBA wherever Dutch wants it. And is it better to have it late in the day so that you can wake up and get your workout in? I'll message you. Butcher's prime cut right here is on the Ottawa, Minnesota over 6.5. I will copy and paste that once we get there. I'm already on the Sabres -1, and I'm going to be moving on either the under 6.5 or the team total under 3. I like what Jake Allen's done this year. I'm a little different than Gokster. I think that he's a goaltender to trust. And I wonder what Buffalo does in their first game home. Again, they got the slap in the face in that 5-1 loss against the Kraken. Spreadsheet play today is the Minnesota Wild. Gokster's on the Minnesota Wild. And I get it. I really get it. But with the loss of Norris to their second line, I get it. Rod Zawacki wants the over in Blues Predators. Interesting. I was thinking of the under in that spot. Gokster's on the team total under 2.5 for the Blues and no goal first 10. Sweaty Butcher on Ottawa, Minnesota over 6.5. Gokster's on a parlay Panthers under 6.5 at plus 180. Under 6.5 for me. Yeah, interesting. Interesting that it's a 10-star. I would prefer not to go against Rod Zawacki's 10-star play. So thank you for sharing that with us. Oilers, Blackhawks, no action. Capitals, Stars, no action. I'm on the Canucks at plus 105. The market's going against me. Oh, that's going to be 10 p.m. is going to be rough. Washington State first half in the Canucks. Jesus. Oh, I feel nervous talking about some of the spots that I'm going to be on tonight. Ghost is on both teams to score first period at plus 135. He's on both teams to score first period in Winnipeg, LA at plus 160. And he's on both teams to score first period at plus 145. Sharks team total over 2.5. I thought I'd have more action in NHL. I don't. And that's fine, because I got a ton everywhere else. Sharpie is on Godwin receiving yards over 72.5 at minus 115 with Evans kind of gimpy. Then we have next up Gokster on the Bucks minus 118. Fournette anytime touchdown. Ravens team total under 22.5 minus 106. I'm going to be on the Buccaneers, and I might even make it a contest pick in the Cappers contest. Then we have Astute Chaos on Dallas, Minnesota, first half under 116.5. Dan Kelly on the first half Dallas money line. And I want the Mavericks. I feel like Brooklyn. This is going to be an important. Oh, did it move to 4.5? There was people saying that it moved to 4.5. Let's find that out right now. No, it did not. So I just feel like we're going to get a sign whether Durant and Kyrie have a ton of heart. And my expectation is that they don't. But if they step up here on the second night of a back-to-back and lead their team to a victory against the Mavericks, I will be very impressed, and I have a lot of more respect for both of them as teammates. I'm going to be on the over 218 in Clippers, Oklahoma City. That better not have gone up anymore. It has not. And I'm going to be on the Clippers first quarter. Astute Chaos is on that first half under 107. By the way, Blues 5-0 to the over on 0 days rest and 25-1 last 26 versus Central Division. Bo Jackson saying Brooklyn can't rebound. We're going to eat. Warriors full game minus 6.5 came very close to being a play until it did not at the end. Full of question marks. I'm going to pull it. And then the Kings team total over in the Kings first quarter will be my action. Astute Chaos is on the first half over 115.5, and I get it. I get why you're on it, and maybe I should be on it too, but I'm going to focus on those two spots. Then in college football, I've got a lot of action. I got Virginia Tech, Southern Miss, and Washington State first half. And it's possible that this is it's very possible that I'm being a little too cute in college football. But look what it's done for me so far this year. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support here. We have the Cappers contest show in 32 minutes. 32 minutes until the Cappers contest show. And we went 4-1 last week. So we're in business. We're 20-15 and have every opportunity to get hot down the stretch here. Remember, in the Cappers contest, it is our chat that makes our picks. We vote on the action, and our chat makes our picks. And it's really, really, really fun. So please join us. Please do it. Join us here in 32 minutes right here on Pub Sports Radio. Thank you guys so much for your support. I was pretty pissed off starting the show and pretty angry talking about the Canucks. But you guys, I'm so thankful, and it's helped me enormously in all aspects of life, having the opportunity to cap with you guys every day. Smith Legacy, AJ 1337, Cashman 19, the winner of our poker tournament last night, Trans Canada. Says, can we take a moment and say a few nice things of the Winnipeg Jets? I can tell you this, Benny Pennybombs is on your Winnipeg Jets, and he's a great capper. There you go. Rod is a wacky. Preds 0-7 versus Central and winless in North America. Take the Blues. Wow. Curtis, Bo Jackson, the Sweaty Butcher, Brandon the Great, Dan Kelly, Miss MDR 24, Dutch Boy Fresh, picks from Dave, Sky Dragon, Rants, Ross Pitts, Mr. College. Yes, we did cover Ravens Bucks, and I'm moving on to Buccaneers. And I did do a little review there, Mr. College, so I hope that helped you. And then our video's out right now as well. Piker, DC Capper, Jake Burns, Trotwam, Joe Mannix, G. Martinez. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. Razor Sharp Picks, Parlay Angel, Fuck the Bookie. What a group. Nuke Worker, Brian Watson, Markel, Earl Sports Bets, T-Mac. Thank you guys. Now, all we do is go out there and get the fucking money. I need a big night. Tonight, I had a good night. I had a winning night. I was in the black. Well, not good enough, but I was in the black last night. And goddamn, am I going to have a lot of action today. I guess not as much when I went over it because I don't have that much NHL, but I also have the poker game. So I need my bankroll to be right for the Breeders' Cup. Don't forget, we have Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday next week. So that's also Dutch. I had Dutch on Friday, but I won't have him on Friday a week tomorrow because it will be all horses. It'll be all horses. Why don't I? Here we go. This is Friday, and this is Saturday. So get your bankroll right. We're gonna get that cash. Let's fucking go. Big day today. Big fucking day. Meet us at the Cappers contest in 30 minutes, but most importantly, Leche Elos Bookmakers.